Hey everyone, how are y'all? Sally, how are you? Vapor, how are you? Pagan Ways, how are you tonight? Hey Bethea, how are you? Hey Freya. Bethea, you doing okay tonight? Give me just a second, y'all. I'm trying to get all my shit together here. Okay. All right, so email is pinned to the top of the chat if y'all need to get in touch with me for some reason. American Princess, how are you? Hey Emerald Queen and Werewolf Queen, how are y'all? Hey Esther, how are you? Cool Gamer, how are you tonight? Hey White Widow Baby. Uh, the Nightbot Badea, you just go and make a Nightbot account on the website and then link it to your channel. Hey Mark, how are you? P Fox, Princess Megan, and Sandra, how are y'all? Hey K Braz. Elliot. I don't see Rosie. Oh, Rosie was in here at the beginning. Okay. Sandra, I'm doing good, I guess. I'm a little irritated right now, but other than that, I'm good. Rosie, how are you? Michelle, I see her now. She was her comment was up at the top part of the chat. See how far. Elliot, I literally just went live 3 minutes ago. Hey, Steve, how are you? See, second time I've joined. Well, we're happy to have you here with us tonight, Steve. So, first time was the other night at 3 a.m. Really enjoyed your guests and your perspectives. Well, thank you. Vapor, you doing good tonight? No, Reba, I didn't order batteries, y'all. I ordered a dang splitter for my monitor. So I would, and Big Al's gonna kill me. He literally just pops in whenever I start talking about this. But I ordered a splitter for my multiple monitors, and it don't work. Hey, Brad, how are you? So I was irritated. So now I've got to send it back, and I had to order uh, an adapter that is for display ports and HDMI's. Big Al, I don't want to hear no lip from you. I just knew it was going to work. But everything that I read, that's what they said I needed was a splitter. So that's what I ordered it. And it don't work. So I'm back down to one damn monitor. until Monday. It's supposed to be here Monday. I didn't even think about the batteries. And I was even at the store 20 minutes ago. Next time, 1-800 Big Al. I'm going to have to put you on speed dial. But the monitor works fine. So, what did I think about the episode? There was a lot of things that we already knew in it. Surprised about the sister and what she brought up to the family. They have the proof that he bought the knife from Amazon, which we had talked about last night. Rosie, I'm doing good, thank you. And they said that he bought it. I think I wrote the month down, but like a couple of months before he went out to Washington. And they think that the Papa Rogers account was him. And that he is the number one suspect in the friends. Hey, Tree Baby. And the lady out at WSU, where her apartment, I guess you could say, got broken into or whatever. Whoever did it didn't take anything. They just moved stuff around and she noticed it. But they're saying that they think he's like number one suspect. Mud Beaver, how are you? So there was, like I said, some things that we knew already. And then some things that we hadn't really even heard of. I see, I heard that Papa Rogers' account was this Elliot guy from Indiana. Elliot, at least you don't have to carry that name around with you too much longer. I know, White Widow Baby, that a month and a half, 2 months ago, there was a Papa Rogers account that had popped back into Facebook, into the groups and stuff, but I don't. Obviously, it's probably going to be somebody that just made up a new account. What was said about the sister? Okay, so they didn't say which sister, but they said that both of his sisters came home for the Christmas holidays. And one of the sisters kind of put two and two together. That she had noticed he was wearing latex gloves inside the parents' house. And so she brought it up and kind of started a conversation about the murders, and that Bryan lived not far from where the murders happened. And that even Bryan drives a white Hyundai Elantra, just like what police were saying that they were looking for. And suggested to the family that they may want to think about the fact that maybe Bryan's the one that murdered the kids. The dad said no, he didn't believe it. And they said on Dateline that some of the family members, and they didn't say which family members, but they said that some of the family members then went outside to the car, to Bryan's car, and started looking through it for evidence. And they didn't find anything. But they said that happened after FBI had noticed him cleaning the car out with bleach. Okay, I had heard that too, Rosie. They didn't mention the one sister that's an actress. Hey, Dennis, how are you? They did say that his other sister, which once again they didn't name names or anything like that, but they did at close to the very end said that one of his sisters was fired from the medical field, but they didn't know why. I have heard that they both lost their jobs because of them being connected to Bryan and because of what he done and all that. Don't know if that's true or not. That was just what was going around. Let's see. Never knew he had a friend who he installed. Now, Dennis, that was brought up, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I guess, about the friend of his claiming that she had someone had went into her apartment and had moved stuff around, but she didn't call the police because they didn't take anything. Please help me specs on the computer so I can investigate before you. Oh, big! I done reordered. That's why I was like 2 or 3 minutes late because I went ahead and reordered the other thing. But I'll send you the specs on it because I've Googled it and I can't find anything that'll fix it. But anyway, it came out a couple weeks about the friend, and they're saying that they think that he's the one that went in and done it, kind of orchestrated the whole thing, and um, kind of like a thing. Okay, well now you have a problem. I'm your friend. You need me to fix your problem and make it better for you. So he comes in, suggests that she get cameras. She gets the cameras, and then he volunteers to install the cameras in her apartment. And they said that when he done that, he then had her Wi-Fi password, so he was able to just use his phone, pull up the camera, and watch her. But they said that they didn't think that he did it as her being a victim or anything like that. Just that he was wanting to spy on her. Hey Julie, how are you? King Scarlet, how are you tonight? No, we'll chat about it. I'll send you the screenshot on it. Dig out what I ordered. Let's see. I heard that story soon after the arrest about the friend Rosie out in Washington. And Dennis, you're welcome. I don't know, Freya, but I mean, it seems like it would bleach seats and carpet and everything else. See, I just posted a two-part question. I like your opinion. Okay, give me a second, Elliot. Let me scroll back up and I'll find it. Okay, so if they went through his car to see if they could find any evidence, and that was after FBI says that he cleaned his car, wouldn't they have noticed that it was super clean? Let's see, and looks like might have actually been checking to make sure he got everything or to clean up the stuff that he forgot. I think he was for sure trying to clean it up, trying to get everything out of it. It's a shame that the sister didn't bring it up before he cleaned it out. Or maybe they could have found something. And more than likely, if there's blood in there, there's probably still going to be blood in there. I don't think you can get blood completely out, especially if it soaks through the seats. So it's getting spicy. How to feel in the family. Yeah. That was one of the things that was really surprising to hear was the sister had brought that up and actually suggested to the family that they think about the fact that maybe Bryan's the one who murdered the kids. Hey CJ, how are you? So the Papa Rogers accounts wasn't Dennis. They're saying that the one before the arrest that came out, the one where they had made the post about that, based on what they've put out and all this and that, and the weapon or whatever, that they must have found the sheath. That account there is the one that they're saying was Bryan's. Now there was one that popped up after it was gone for like several weeks, and then one ended up popping up, I guess about a month and a half ago, on Facebook with that name and that same picture. But people, I mean, they make up accounts like that and everything else, trying to clone people and all that. So that's probably all it was. I'm sure she had a "I told you so" look on her face after the warrant was served. Yeah, and they said that the dad said he didn't believe it. Hey, Justin, how are you? The account was allegedly the account that spoke about a sheep before we knew it. Yes. Because y'all remember they didn't even come out of and say anything about the sheep until the PCA came out. Thank you, Emerald Queen. Hey, Pearl, how are you? Let's see. Anyone can get that picture, and the new one popped up. Maybe someone did. I think that's what it is. Pearl. It's just somebody is trying to copycat it. My sister was the most surprising to me. I didn't know that she was suspicious. I know, LJ. That was, yeah. And we did talk about last night. For those that have watched it yesterday, they were talking about that they knew that he bought the sheath from Amazon. They had the proof that the sheath and the knife that he had bought. See, he was kicked out of Facebook group, so he started his own group. Then, see, he abandoned his group. I don't think he was BK though. I know a lot of people were kicking him out of the different groups and stuff like that. Now, I don't know what all the sister told police, but apparently the people at Dateline, their source was law enforcement because they kept saying about the law enforcement sources said this and said that, and there was FBI agents that were on there. There was a psychologist that was on there. I'm trying to think if that was all of them. There was a guy that was on there talking about the geotagging. Oh, and they also said that the source claimed the IDs that was found in a glove in a box, that it was actually 2 IDs in a glove in a box of 2 different women, and that neither one of the women were any of the victims. So they did say that the source told them that too. I'm trying to think of what else they came out with it. Because there was a lot of stuff that we had heard that they came back and said that it wasn't true, it was this. Technically, only one more day. Yeah. It'll be here before we know it. Hey, Max, how are you? Max, have you watched the Dateline episode that came out yesterday? Werewolf Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. The battery charger fund. Thank you. That was very nice of you. I promise I'm going to order the batteries and the charger. I promise. Oh, what are y'all nervous about, Marissa and White Widow Baby? 2 female IDs found plus 2 female survivors. Maybe same 2 people. Could be. Now, they didn't say that it wasn't the survivors' IDs. They just said it was 2 females, and that the females were not any of the victims. So it could have been the 2 survivors. We don't know. Not nervous, anxious. It's going to be an interesting day. See, I've not seen the Dateline, but is it the focus of much chatter, good or bad for Bryan? I think bad for him, Max. I mean, his sister thinks that he did it, thought that he did it before he even got arrested. They have proof that he bought a K-bar knife and sheath from Amazon before he went to Washington. There was an incident. I'm pretty sure y'all saw the body cam footage of the girl who lived next door to the house. She had some luggage in her car, and somehow the luggage overnight was taken out of her car and sit in the driveway beside of where she was parked at, and she come out and she noticed the luggage was out, and there was some stuff that was moved around in her car. Hey, Justice A to Z, how are you? Um, and that there was some stuff that was in her front seat that was, hey, Gina Marie, that was stuffed into her suitcase. Um, and I wrote the date down for that one too. I have to go back through my notes, but they're thinking, they haven't came out and said, but they're thinking or looking into the possibility that maybe he had something to do with that, because they also said that when Bryan was finishing up his uh, his studies at DeSale before he graduated, he was actually doing online classes, and they have not came out and said where he was at during that time. But during the time that the incident at that house next door to the girl's house happened was also the same time that he bought the knife, and also the time that he did the interview with Pullman Police Department. And he did that interview 7 months before the murder happened, before he ever moved to Washington. So I don't know if they have, if I'm pretty sure law enforcement has checked to see where he was at when he was doing these online classes, and to see if maybe he had something to do with that. Maybe he was in the Moscow area during that time. Let's see, did y'all know that the girl who had the car burglar had a car just like Kaylee's before she got the Range Rover? No, Marissa, I didn't know that. Let me see. I'm praying that they will televise this trial. I personally think that the public will really press the matter, and with all hope the judge will agree. Yeah, I think Monday we're just gonna have to wait until after all of it's over with. Okay, thank you, Werewolf Queen. But the part Monday we're gonna have to wait until that's all over with before we get to see it. So it'll probably be that afternoon. Okay, I was checking the website to see if there was anything new on it, but there's not. Let's see what else. White Widow Baby, do you remember we were trying to figure out about the apartments that was in front of the kid's house where that last picture was taken? Hey Sybil, how are you? Um, will you do an afternoon live on it? Depends on what time it is in the afternoon. I don't think I have anything to do Monday. I don't have to go anywhere. Um, so if they release it, yeah, I could probably do a live if they want me to, as soon as they drop it. Okay, so that apartment where that picture was taken, I know who lives there now. Remember, we were trying to figure it out, and we just knew that it was in that apartment building, and now I know who it is that lives there. So I can send you that information. Um, the doctor, so I can't remember if they said a psychiatrist or a psychologist, but anyway, he said that Bryan was socially awkward or social awkwardness. He was said to be a loner. There was people that he went to the sales with that said that he always liked to stare at them. He was very, um, I guess, weird, but they didn't really think anything about it. They didn't think, like, they wasn't worried about him. They was just, yes, White Widow Baby. They said that it was just him doing his normal thing or whatever, but they never thought anything about it, that he would do anything like that. Mercy, it's been said that she lost her job because of her connection to Bryan and what he's being accused of. But I don't understand why they would fire the sister. I mean, she's not the one who went out and done it, and she can't help what her brother did. So why make her suffer unless it was affecting their business? Now, wherever she was working at or whatever, if it was affecting their business, that could be the reason. But other than that, I mean, it's not her fault what he did. See, he's a Kohberger. That's obviously a German name, and that's obviously the internationally famous, well known German stayer. I just know they did a close up of his eyes. Um, very weird looking, very big, cold, just like he's just staring through you. Is what it looked like. Did the police ever say if they recovered the DNA from under Xana's fingernails? No, loaded hot. I haven't heard that, but that doesn't mean that they didn't. Um, they also said that they think that on the third floor happened first, and because Xana had that DoorDash delivery, they think that as he was coming down the stairs from the third floor to the second floor, that they think that maybe his intentions was at that time to leave, and that maybe he had ran into Xana in the kitchen, hallway, living room, whatever they're thinking, whatever area of the house, but they're thinking that maybe he ran into her, and he ended up like she would have been the third victim, and him not knowing that Ethan was in the house, and then he was surprised by Ethan, and then Ethan was the last victim. But I thought that was said a while back that they didn't know the order of the third floor, but Ethan was third and Xana was last. Hey, Daylight, how are you? And I don't remember if this had ever been said or not, but they did say that whenever he was studying under Catherine Ramslin, that part of her studies was that she made her students, or part of her assignments, I'm sorry, was that she made her students read that BTK book, The Confessions of a Serial Killer, and that he had to read that. And I wonder if he started like, I don't know if I would say getting ideas for how he was going to do things, because this FBI agent is thinking that he's he's done this murder over and over in his head multiple times. And then there was another FBI agent that was on there that was saying that once he did the murders, it was almost like he got a high from it, and he felt cleansed. See, the coroner said everyone was found in the beds, but apparently not Xana and Ethan. Yeah, she said that, I think at the beginning, but it says in the PCA that Xana was found on the floor, but it just says as far as Ethan, it just says he was in the room with Xana, but they didn't say if he was on the floor of the bed or whatever. And hey G, how are you? Yeah, Big Al, let me grab one for you. And that in the PCA it also says that Kaylee and Maddie were found in the bed. Hey Duncan, how are you? See, I watched a 2020 last night about an FBI agent who was an SK. Wow. Rosie, that's what I always thought too. Hey. How are you?
Hey, I
Uh,
had a slight theory.
Okay.
Do you think there's any way that when he went after this internship with the local PD, that he was already in the planning stages and he wanted to make sure he kind of had an inside line?
Okay, so that was also brought up. And they said that that possibly was a reason why he wanted to get in with them is because he could see everything that they could see that the outside people, or I guess civilians, so to say, uh, can't see. One being like camera footage,
Well,
uh,
in all
inside.
honesty, all he has to do is get in that office one time with a USB stick and he can have his way with them.
Right.
I mean,
So
really.
that was brought up on there. Hey T Rev, how are you? Um, that they're thinking that that's the reason, but it's funny because like he does the interview, he orders the knife, and the incident with the girl who lives next door to the kid's house, like they were all right there together in the same month, but they don't know. And this is during the time that he's about to graduate from the sales, but because he was doing the online classes, they don't know where he was at, or they're claiming they don't know where he was at. That he could have
Well,
been anywhere because he was doing online classes.
did they subpoena the university? Do you
Uh,
remember seeing anything in there about them subpoenaing the university?
uh,
Because if he was taking online classes, they were logging his IP address.
let's see.
Every time he logged in, they knew where he was logging in from,
I don't.
unless he's running a VPN.
I don't remember. Okay, so there's a Washington State University one. Let me see if there was. Okay, Amazon, Apple, Coeur
'Cause I don't
d'Alene.
remember seeing anything about the university.
I don't see a DeSales on here either. They Discover Bank Dropbox, but there's no DeSales University or anything
Hmm.
like that. I don't even see uh, the University of Idaho on here. I thought that they would have subpoenaed that, like maybe just for the video footage to see if they could have caught him on the campus.
Well, I'd be thinking they'd be looking at the kids' student emails too. So
I think they
they'd need a
did.
warrant for that.
I think they did a warrant for the kids'
Emails.
emails. I
Okay.
think so. I know that they did. Was it Facebook, Instagram, for all the ones who that had it? See, maybe TikTok.
And I know before anybody in the chat roasts me, I know kids don't use email. They do other things. I get it, but they
But I
still
want to.
sometimes use it.
No, I think that they did though. I would have to go back through. Let me see this Google one. Let me see what it's for. Uh, let's see. Search for. Let's see. I just need the return so I can see what it is. Okay, so data related to the Google account, but it doesn't say who it's for.
Well, have a lot of the universities moved over to putting the students on Google accounts?
Oh, I have no idea.
Because I know my last company, 2 years before I left, they just changed us all off of everything Microsoft and onto Google. We showed up for work one day and they're like, here's your new shit. Figure out how to use it.
I want to say that they. Hold on. I have to go. Okay, so this one doesn't say whose Google account that they're wanting. But I want to say that I've seen in there, I know at least Kaylee's, I believe they did a Gmail account for. So I'm pretty sure that all of them, all four kids, and Bryan are in there.
It makes me wonder what brand of phones these kids had. Because I know what the level of tracking is on an Android phone if you don't turn it all off. I don't know what it's like on an Apple. I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat knows. I know nothing Apple.
I don't
Literally,
either. I only use Android, so I don't know. Because
I can
uh,
I can set one of the machines up like on a network and get it working, but I don't really know the inner workings at all about anything Apple.
now I do know. Let me see, because there is some Apple, and there's four different Apple uh, search warrants that they did. So let me just.
Freya, I'm betting it's probably 50-50 iPhone to Android. Because you either love Apple or you hate it. I mean, that's just, and I can't stand it. I don't like a one-button phone. I just can't do it.
Okay, so this one is for one of the Apple phones, whichever one is ended. The phone number ended in 1841, and then it has the IMEI number, but that is redacted. So there's 4 of them.
Yeah, you could clone the phone if you had the IMEA.
Okay, well
That's all you need, really, is the IMEA.
There's 4 of them on here for Apple. I'm sure all 4 of the victims probably had Apple phones. Not sure what Bryan has, but I mean, I also know that they did Verizon Wireless, they did T-Mobile.
And I will say this to all the Apple users: yes, your phones are more secure than an Android phone. They are.
Yeah, I've never my kids use Apple. I don't. I've never had an Apple phone.
They are more secure, and they do fight. They do fight law enforcement on releasing data more than Google does.
Hey, Ashes. But if Bryan had an Apple phone, it seems like there would have been 5 search warrants for Apple. Unless there's I gotta find the Apple ones again. Unless there's 2 on 1 search warrant, which could be a possibility. I just have to go back through them. Okay,
I mean,
so
I'm wondering what app this specific area of kids are using to communicate. If it's Snapchat, if it's
okay, so on the Dateline episode that was asked, like, what apps are popular with the group of kids there: Instagram, Snapchat, and they did say the girl that was doing the interview with them, which is one of Kaylee's friends, said that she also does TikTok.
Okay. Can you DM on TikTok? I don't know. I've never downloaded it. I know nothing about TikTok.
I have a TikTok account for the channel, but I've never really messed with it.
I was warned about TikTok right when it first came out, and I never downloaded it.
It has an inbox, but I don't know if you can. I don't know. I really haven't messed with it.
Oh, Vapor says, yeah, you can. You can get messages.
Let's see, you can PM on TikTok, but hardly go there. Yeah, I have one, but I have the account. I got the Facebook account for the group and Instagram, and I never do anything with Instagram or TikTok. Hey, Ray, how are you? Somebody else, do a poll, Apple versus Android. Let's see if I can get a poll going.
I'm guessing it's right down the middle.
Okay, well, let's see.
I mean, as far as customizing a phone, it's a lot easier to do with Android. Apple's got their phones pretty locked down, which is why I left the iPhone alone, I think, in the second version, and went Android.
I know that. I'm trying to think. I've seen pictures that Kaylee has done that shows she's got an Apple phone, which hers. The search warrant for Apple for hers, it has her name on it. This one here, for whatever reason, doesn't have a name on it. It's just got the last 4 digits of the phone number. I want to say I've seen pictures with Xana, and she's got an Apple phone as well. Let's see, this one, the name is redacted, but the last 4 digits of the number. So why put Kaylee's name in it and not redact anything else except for?
Perhaps they have their phone on someone else's account.
Well, the Gonzalez family said that they had like the family plan, so they were actually able to get into Kaylee's phone because it was her phone is on their plan or whatever. But hers, all of these Apple search warrants, hers is the only one that has her name on it. All the rest of them, the name is off of them, and it has the last four digits, and then it just says IMEI, and then that number is redacted.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to
I can't
see.
believe Kohberger's trending 4 different ways on Twitter right now. Have you seen
I,
that?
I hadn't even been on Twitter today.
He's trending 4 different ways. One of them's that huge thread that Sleuthy's on. I
Yeah.
didn't get to see the Dateline thing. I haven't found a way to watch it yet. I'm really curious about that.
Um, you can do a 7 day free trial on there, but if you do it for like the lower plan, it doesn't say that you can get the NBC network on it.
Hmm. I'll find it. It'll make its way out to mainstream here in the next couple days, I'm sure.
Probably.
It always does.
Lost in him. Okay. I can do that real quick. Wait, little baby, hold on. I'm gonna send you something on, and I also sent you the thing that the other thing that I ordered. But I'm gonna send you this real quick, and then that way you can just sign into. Well, Lord, I gotta find it first. That way you can log into it and watch it.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested. With
What
my
the?
lack of sleep, something interesting in the middle of the night is kind of appealing.
Okay. What the hell?
Vapor,
Hold
I
on.
think Vapor asked what happened to Sleuthy coming on panel. I think she got wrapped up in some really heavy
E-
discussions.
oh no, the night that she was supposed to come up, something else had came up. Um, it wasn't nothing to do with internet
Oh,
stuff,
okay.
but yeah, I don't want to say what it was because it's
I know the next day she was slammed online
yeah, and
because
because
she's
I had actually sent her a message and told her, I was like, I don't know if you were still planning on coming up last night, but I apologize because I fell asleep. And then she wrote me back and then told me what had happened, and she wasn't able to come up anyway. So,
yeah. I haven't talked to her in like a week. So we got 60 votes, and it's 50-50.
is it really?
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's funny as shit. Well, 51-49. Apple's in the lead.
Okay.
So it really is kind of even. I mean, a
Well,
lot of people, I don't know, in my corporate experience, you don't have a choice with your work phone. It's, they give you a phone and that's what you use.
right.
That's
Okay. Let me put this in this message so I can get it sent to you real quick.
there's somebody in the back chat that I don't
Oh, is
recognize.
okay. Hold on. I'm not even on the StreamYard.
I don't recognize the name.
Okay, I'll go look in just 1 second. I'm sending this real quick. Oh shit.
G and I love my Galaxy too.
Oh,
I
I
got
don't
the
like
20.
galaxies.
I got the 23 now with the stylus, and I love it.
Yeah, I don't like uh, Samsung products.
Well, the first thing I do when I come home from Verizon is crack the thing and take out all the shit that I don't want in the phone, which is a lot. There's a lot of stuff running on Android phones that you just don't need, and I'm sure there is on Apple too. I just
Yeah.
don't know anything about them.
Okay.
P Fox, I'm scared of the Z Fold because of where I live. It's too cold. And I've heard horror stories about those phones when it's like 20 below and you open them up and the screen just cracks.
I wouldn't like that anyway.
I have a friend that has one, and it's a really neat phone. It really is. It's a neat phone. It's pretty cool, and it actually fits in your pocket.
Yeah, I would be scared that it would break opening it or closing it.
Yeah, Gina, I think it's a 23. I don't know. I just got it.
Yeah, my oldest son has one of the galaxies. I don't know which one it is, and I don't like it at all.
I've been on them since the 19, I think, something like that. But for years, I just had a work phone, and I got a new phone every year, and it was here's your phone. That was what we got.
Hold on just a second.
All right, let's see. There's 152 people and 80 thumbs up. So come on, people. That's 2 seconds out of your day. It'll help the channel. Wait, Widow Baby, I don't know how the hell you're so fast with all these freaking emojis. It makes me wonder about you just a little bit.
Okay. So let me get back into StreamYard now. Let's see. I seen somebody a link for Ray. Okay, let me put the link in the chat, y'all. All right, White Widow Baby. I sent it to Big Al that way he can watch it.
Oh, thank you.
So I just sent it to you, and then I put another message below it because if you don't do this, the bottom message that I said, I found out it won't work.
Oh,
so
I will pay attention.
It's case sensitive. Okay, so let me bring.
No, White Widow Baby, I am not doing the toga if we hit the goal. Sorry.
Wait, what is the goal?
I don't know, but whatever it is, I don't give a shit. I'm not togaing. It's not happening.
I must have missed something while I was muted for a second.
Not happening. I was talking about people clicking the thumbs up, but yeah, no, White Widow Baby.
Yeah, all those thumbs up, is probably the online chat equivalent of toga.
Yeah. Not since I was about 19, and it ain't happening again in this lifetime. I'll tell you that right now.
Well, it literally just jumped from like 88 to 92. So
yeah, well, I'm not doing it, you degenerate.
Okay.
Limbo. You want to put me in the hospital? I just got out.
Oh man, I'm laughing so hard with Big Al. It's not funny. Where are my manners? Scarlett, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Ray, how about you?
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I just had a nice
and Big Al.
spinach
Big Al, how you doing?
It's another day in paradise. Actually, it was kind of a day in paradise. It was a paradise here in northern Minnesota today. It was 73 degrees, sunny, nice light breeze. Thousands of people out fishing. It was a good day today.
Must be nice. It was like an oven down here today.
It was beautiful here. It's the weekend after fishing opener, so
we had that last week.
We're getting busy.
I think we had that here in Oregon last week.
Yeah, it is.
Scarlett, I had a question earlier regarding the sources regarding the sources in the Idaho 4 case presented by Dateline, and I've gotten a lot of information from Ashley Beigefield, if you know who I mean. So I got it, and now it begs the question: how reliable are these sources?
I think I put that in my title. Like, how do we know that all this information is true? That they're Dateline and all that are getting like. How do we
did you read into Sleuthie's thread? Because she's actually calling someone out for being.
Oh yes, now I did see that today on Twitter.
Yeah,
I hopped on Twitter to send a message to White Widow Baby and them, and whenever I went on Twitter, like the main page, Sleuthie's tweet was right there. I did get to see that, but I didn't get to go through and see actually what all was going on.
Yeah, there's people calling that girl out, like straight up calling her out.
Yeah, I did see that, and I get where she's coming from. All these law enforcement sources and and all that. I'm not gonna put it on here. Y'all would just have to go to Twitter.
No, go to Twitter, look it up for yourself. We are not spreading that. No.
Well, that's one thing I try not to do. I'm not gonna say, oh, my sources tell me blah 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 blah. And they're gonna wonder, okay, where's he getting these sources from?
Right.
If it's not direct information, it's hearsay, and I don't deal with hearsay.
True. But I mean, as of right now, like that's literally the only thing we know for a fact is that 4 kids were murdered, and
And they think they know who did it.
yeah, and that they know how they were murdered, and that's pretty much it. Like that's all we really
Right.
know, and the date that they were murdered.
Yep.
Anything I can't think of anything else that we know for an actual fact. Uh, no, I think that's the only thing.
We know for a
This is
fact
about as
that
bad
the
as
prosecution waited to do a data dump,
Yeah.
like last minute, try to
Mhm.
put a poingy in the defense.
Yeah, but and there was something else I was thinking about the other night that we knew for a fact, other than the 4 kids getting murdered, but I don't remember now what it is.
That the sheath was found inside the
Oh,
house.
yes, that's it, because it was in the PCA. Hey, Prosser Gang, how are you? So other than that, that's
We know
really
Kohberger's a creepy guy.
yeah. We can tell that just by looking at pictures and stuff like that. Like the
oh,
stairs.
that's not a doubt. That's
Okay,
not a doubt. Like
I
Big
have
Al said, you
background
look at
noise.
the pictures.
Yeah, what if somebody like rustling a bag of popcorn in front of the microphone? What is that?
I'm rolling up weed. I'm sorry.
That's not a rolling up weed sound.
That was me scraping the plate.
Let's see. Let me get back in the chat real quick.
Android's in the lead with 55%.
Okay, let me open it back up. So yeah, Apple 45, Android 55. Ashley
And
D,
I
how are you?
accidentally hit Apple instead of Android. I use an Android, so you can move one of those over.
I've
Okay.
already voted. I'm an Android too.
I don't think it'll let me vote unless I go on my phone. Let's see. The story makes 0 sense to me with the other girl. Which Ashley B? Which other girl? Are you talking about the one over in WSU? Let's see. Is this going to let me vote? I guess not.
Hey, Prosser, do you got a link for that?
Yeah.
Apparently, Prosser says it's been uploaded to YouTube.
Dateline is uploaded to YouTube if y'all need it. Do you know where at on YouTube, Prosser Gang? Older people use Android. Hey now.
Hey.
I'm not that old.
I am, but that doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Same. I say the same.
Prosser Gang, you can, if you want to email it to me, you can just email it to me, and then I will let everybody know where it's at. If they don't have Peacock and all that. I don't know. This whole gag order thing, and then these law enforcement sources and all this stuff that they're putting out seems a little fishy to me. I'm going to be honest.
I gotta agree with that. I mean, it's one thing to issue a gag order to make sure nothing gets out to the press so they can spin it however they want to. But it's a whole other when there's information being that needs to be brought out and nobody's saying a word.
Yeah, I don't know. This I'm gonna say it again, y'all. This whole case is crazy. Hey, sweet Melissa.
And I got a feeling it's going to be even more crazy before it's all over with.
When this goes to trial,
Oh,
That's where
it's gonna be a zoo.
yeah, that's where all the craziness is really gonna start. Let's see, what else did I find? I wrote, yeah, I've got like 10 pages of notes just from that thing that I watched today, from the Dateline episode.
How long is
Uh,
it? It's 2 hours.
uh, hour and 30 minutes, maybe a few minutes more than an hour and 30. It's not really super long. A lot of the information we already knew about, or had already heard about, but most of the notes that I took was, like they have the the information on the knife in the sheath where he bought it from Amazon, and then the whole sister thing, and then most of the stuff that I wrote down was what the doctor had said. Hour and 23 minutes. Thank you, Marissa. Um, and one of the things that he was saying was that usually, like, they don't know the motive or whatever, but the motive could be rejection. He's angry over girls rejecting him. And one thing that was said was that a lot of times, whenever, and this is the way the doctor explained it, is that what they will do is they will go out and do like a casting call where they want to go out and they want to find, they're out searching for this certain person. And usually what they're looking for is uh, someone who is looks similar to the first person that rejected them when they were younger, because that's where usually the anger and the rage and all that starts at. So they did say that about him. Let's see. They were also wanting to know if maybe BK had crossed paths with Maddie or Xana at Mad Greek. Let's see. Or did he just maybe a prototype? That is it, Gian. Thank you. Um, did he see them just happen to like come across their social media and started stalking them from there? And they did say also that the whole thing about him sending multiple messages to one of the victims, they claimed that law enforcement sources are telling them that that's not true either.
Oh, really?
That's what they said,
Interesting.
that it was put out that he was sending multiple messages to, hey Dory, how are you? That he was sending multiple messages to one of the victims. And that's whenever it came out, where he slid into one of the DMs, and law enforcement sources are claiming that that never happened.
I hate that term. It's so creepy weird.
Well, I don't understand why they would put that he slid into someone's DMs that ended up deceased.
That's a really creepy saying.
Right. Why not just say he sent one of the victims multiple messages?
Usually, when you talk about sliding into someone's DMs, it's like almost a derogatory thing. It's not
Right.
normal.
Right.
You're sliding in because you shouldn't be there.
Right. And that's how they put it out there. That was the term that they used. He slid into one of the victims' DMs. Let's see. They do think that, and this is a lot of this is also coming from the other FBI agent that was on there, that he thinks that Bryan Kohberger has committed other crimes in the past. And there was a certain term that he used.
I still think he has too, because I can't imagine him being able to kill 4 people in that amount of time and getting out of there. I just can't. Not without some kind of practice. I think about how stressful that would be
for your first time.
For your first time, with just the chaos of that situation.
Right.
I just can't even.
Putting that into practice. Putting that into practice, that would be grounds for premeditation.
Right.
Right. There was a term or a certain word that they used whenever they were talking about him going into the girl from WSU, where he went into her apartment when she wasn't there and only moved stuff around but didn't take anything. And then he said it goes from going into a place where the tenant is not there, and then you kind of move up to the next step of going in there while they're there. but there was a term that he used, and I've literally got 10 pages of notes that I would have to find. But I'm sure I'll come across it as I'm going through them. They also did say that they think that he's been in the house before, that he was at some of these parties and went into the house, or went to the parties, got the layout of the house, and all that. Let's see, what else do I got?
That link that got dropped in the chat works. It looks like it's the full 2 hours.
Let's
So I am going to copy the URL and download it before they take it down.
It is. Yeah, this one is. Wait, is this the Dateline one?
Yeah, it says NBC down the bottom left-hand corner. I don't know if it's the right one or not.
This one is Horror in Idaho. The student murders documentary, Netflix 2020. No, this one isn't. This ain't the Dateline one.
Not.
Oh, wait a minute.
It says 2023.
Yeah, this one says
And
documentary.
it looks like one of the bootleg YouTubes because it's only got 19 subscribers. So, and they got their comments off.
And it's got it looks like they put a wall up too.
Yeah, they got a wall up.
While it's playing. But it says documentary for Netflix of 2023.
I think they're just using it to throw off the algorithm so they don't get dropped. Okay. It's like when those guys rebroadcast Fox News and Nightly News and all that stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's always some weird freaking way of they mess with the video and then they mess with the title so it stays up longer. Which I don't understand why they do that. It takes longer than that to get monetized. Yeah, but it takes longer than that to get monetized. But they're not doing anything on there. There's no links or anything to click. I mean, what do they gain from it?
Hey, Turquoise. Tad, how are you? Sybil, it could be. I wasn't playing it. I was just running my mouse across it to see if it was what I had watched earlier, but it looks like they've got a wall up, so I would have to listen to it.
FAFO has the right idea though. He says it's a click and view grab.
Let's see. Prosser Gang says she posted the channel name. Let me go up and see if I can find her.
Well, I'm downloading the video right now, and I'll put it on my Google Drive.
Okay.
Nobody's depending on YouTube or having to share logins or anything. As much as I appreciate that, I don't want to screw up somebody else's account.
See, the upload has no commercials. Oh, there it is. I can't pronounce that.
Yeah, this is the right one.
Okay.
I'm fairly certain.
Okay. Well, all I know is it's got Keith Morrison on it. It's got BTK Killer. His daughter is on it. A couple of different FBI agents, a doctor, and one of Kaylee's friends is on there. And then one of the guys that Bryan went to DeSales University with, actually, the picture that was circulating of Bryan, like he's standing there writing something. That guy that took the picture was actually, I guess, a lab partner, I guess you could say. Like they had a project that they had to do together, and he's the one that took the picture of Bryan. So it's on there. That guy's on there as well.
How come I haven't seen one normal looking picture of this guy, of Bryan?
Honestly, the one of him standing there like he's writing something is probably the most normal picture that's out there of him.
Every picture I've seen, it's just like creep level 10.
And see, the guy that took the picture, that was the partner with Bryan on that project that they had to do, he said that Bryan was laughing and joking because he was trying to get some pictures that they needed for the project. And he told Bryan, he's like, dude, you got to stop because I need you to be serious for a minute. Like, I've got to get these pictures. And he said it was just like he flipped a switch and Bryan just like cut it off immediately and just went completely serious, like he was posing for the picture.
That guy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Oh yeah.
He's crazy on so many levels.
Mm.
Yeah.
There's just some people you can just look at. I don't know. I don't know if he's guilty in this case, but he's still a creepy, weird son of a bitch. Even if he's not guilty, he's still
Right.
creepy, weird.
Let's see. Okay, so also the night that it was August the 21st is when it was that Bryan, they're claiming, went to the house. They said it was the first time that he had went there, and that's the night he got pulled over for the whole seatbelt violation. Uh, Apparently he didn't take the hint that he shouldn't go back to Moscow and bother these girls like that. I would have taken that as like a sign. You know,
Yeah.
I'm getting stopped in Moscow,
If
just
he's
leaving the
nuts,
house.
if he's nuts though, I mean, you gotta remember he thinks he's smarter than everybody.
Oh, that is true.
Yeah. That's the way they all fall. They're thinking they're smarter than everybody. That's
Okay,
the
let
way
me
they all fall.
see. All right, so they called the thing with the girl at WSU. They was like that was an odd thing that happened with Bryan. And I wonder, they're saying that he's a strong suspect in that case. So I wonder if they found the video footage on his phone from this girl's cameras that was in her house where he had been watching her. I wonder if that's why, or if they just are speculating that he's the one that broke into the girl's house to begin with.
Probably because he's a creepy, weird looking son of a bitch.
Very true.
And
Okay, let's see. They did say that he possibly orchestrated it, and they do keep saying like that. You know, this is they have sources, and basically
I
there's
hate that word now. When it comes to the news, I hate hearing sources when they just absolutely refuse to talk about where it's coming from.
right,
There's just been too many things in the last 5 years that have come out on the news that have been source driven and they're bullshit.
and it's just a lot of it is for clicks and views. Now, I'm not saying that all of it that they're coming out with, or that any of these companies are coming out with any case. There very well could be some sources that are giving them accurate information. Um, but I think most of it is going to be for clicks and views. Let's see. Okay, so they said that they think that he possibly orchestrated it. It becomes a control thing, and like I said earlier, it's basically you have a problem. I'm here to fix it and make it better for you. And then the term that they use that I was talking about a minute ago is called a step in the progression, where you enter the house when the occupant wasn't there. Then the next step is you enter the house when they are there, which would have been going from this girl's house when she wasn't there to entering the other girl's house when they were there and then
It's the
committing the
whole
murders.
it's the whole snooping around in their drawers thing and then going back and taking something out of the drawers and then going back and hiding in the freaking closet.
All right. And then they also said that they believe that Bryan had been lurking in the yard some of those 12 times that they claimed that he went to the house, that he was actually in the yard lurking, watching these girls. Dude, it's just, I don't know. Super creepy. I can't think of any other name, what you would call it.
Is there any other name for it? Is there any other name for it?
Disgusting, perverted. Uh, I think the creepiness, though, just
Well, looking at the
takes it
video
all.
of the layout of that property, if any of them had windows facing towards the back, he could
Oh,
have found an elevated position, no problem, and looked right in their windows.
yeah, there was in the back of the house there was a sliding glass door on the floor, the ground floor in the back, because the first floor was ground level in the front, but the second floor was ground level in the
Level in the
back.
back, yep.
Right. So ground level floor in the back had a sliding glass door, and then straight above it on the third floor was Kaylee's sliding glass door in her room. And then there was a kitchen window on the back, and then Dylan's bedroom window was on the back, and then Maddie's bedroom window was on the back on the third floor, and then the other window was where you're going up the stairs to the third floor, like in that little what do you call it? Oh, shit, I can't think of the name of it. Where you go up like a flight of stairs and then you turn and then you go up the stairs more.
A landing.
Yes. So where the landing is right there, there was a window right there too. But that kitchen sliding glass door, and I want to say that any of the windows in the kitchen, I don't think had like curtains or blinds or anything. And Kaylee's room might have her sliding glass door because her front window on the front of the house had a blind in it. But I don't know about her sliding glass door. But it was open, and I don't know if police opened it or what, but there was nothing on it, and you can actually see in there at night where her bed was. The whole house is it's an odd shaped house.
Yeah, the way it's set up, I did notice that when I was watching the videos. It was like, God, you could just sit right in the woods and lean up against a tree and stare in the window all night. Nobody'd ever know you were there.
Yeah, because that whole little tree line goes right by the house and then kind of like goes to wraps around the back part of the yard there. Yeah. And nobody would have even know that he was back there.
Oh, at night, I mean, it'd be so easy to hide.
Right.
It's just, ridiculous. It'd be so easy to hide.
And that is super creepy. And these girls, if that's what he was doing, they had no idea that this creepy lurker dude was in the backyard watching them. And
I think we should all be allowed to have a minefield surrounding our house.
That would be awesome.
That would be great.
That really would be. And then, what else was it that they said? Oh, the camera. They didn't mention about the camera, but I wonder if Bryan knew these people who had the camera in the backyard. They came out and said that there was a camera back there, and then they came back out and said, no, there wasn't a camera. And then all of a sudden they came back out again and said that there was a camera back there. I wonder if Bryan knew these people who put that camera in the backyard.
Well, was it a camera with a DVR or just a live camera?
It was a camera on a tripod that was recording from 8 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock in the morning. And they're claiming that it caught at 2 o'clock. It caught a truck pulling into the driveway and a woman running away from the house.
What camera are you running for 12 hours?
Why are you running a camera pointed at a house that has nothing but girls living in it at night where you can see in their windows and doors that has no coverings on them?
Well, because you're a creepy, pervy weirdo.
That's why I'm thinking...
The creep factor just went up beyond 10.
I'm wondering if maybe he knew who these people are that had something to do with this camera, if that camera is true.
Yeah, if it's true, because what battery lasts 12 hours for a camera? I don't know.
I'm not even talking battery. I'm talking about a memory card. That's a lot of data, 12 hours of video.
Yeah.
I mean, even 6 hours of video is a lot of data.
Yeah, because they, for whatever reason, like, I don't know why they came out with it to begin with, but they said that they had it back there and it was for some type of project and they didn't have the tape, that one of the other students had the tape, or the person, it was like is it a videographer group or something like that? And then they came back out and said no, that they were lying about it. And then for whatever reason, they come back again and say that there really was a camera on a tripod back there.
I don't know. That doesn't make much sense.
I'm with you on that one, Big L.
It just doesn't make
sense. I
sense.
got my head around it and can't.
Like Ray said, battery. Like I'm saying, the amount of data. Weather.
Somebody in the chat said a AAA.
AAA battery?
Yeah.
Those
for
are 12
like 12 hours of video?
Those are super small batteries.
Well, I can think of a The data, you have an external data, like external hard drive hooked up to the camera, and that's where the footage goes. But I can't see a battery, even a AAA, lasting
No,
12 hours
no,
straight.
no,
Unless it was,
no.
if it is true, maybe it was only motion censored. But still, why would you have a motion censored camera in the backyard
in
of a
the woods
girl's?
behind the house.
Like that wouldn't make any sense. Like I get,
Right.
cameras, like surveillance cameras on houses or businesses, even maybe that they're set up by motion, but that wouldn't make any sense to have it behind somebody's house, pointing at their house. Like I don't. The cameras, motion sensor cameras, have to be a certain distance away in order to be tripped for them the motion to.
Well, I can tell you, I'm looking at my 4 exterior main cameras right now on my wall on a 50-inch TV, and I can see 100 yards at night. And if there's motion within my field of vision, it'll put a little M up in the corner and tell me there's motion. Sometimes I can't even see it. It's like a
So
coyote or something, and it's just it registers the motion.
okay, so a camera could be far back to where maybe they probably didn't even see
Yeah,
it
a
at
decent
8 o'clock at
outdoor
night.
HD camera. I mean, I've got 4K cameras, and I mean, I can see 100 yards. I'm not reading a license plate at 100 yards, but I can tell you what kind of car it is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just. But what
Justice
have
Well, you
you
gotta
seen?
A
think,
to Z, too. Justice
you
A
gotta
to
think
Z
them ring cameras
is something.
at least see cars driving by. So it at least goes,
Yeah, that's
40
100
feet,
feet.
50 feet away. Yeah.
The ring cameras.
Justice A to Z makes nothing. That'll make sense. He said that they could have plugged it in with extension cords. Now that makes more sense.
Well, you don't have to. If you're
But
talking about
what?
an external hard drive with that much data, and I mean, you need a power source out there of some sort.
But where are you going to run
Yeah,
an extension cord to a camera in a backyard of a girl's house
I,
that probably don't know this camera is in their backyard?
well, highly doubtful.
I mean,
But you could do an IP wireless camera, and then
True.
all you've got to do is get power to it, and then you can connect to it through your router, and inevitably from anywhere.
Which would likely go right back to the beginning with this whole 12 hours on one battery or memory card or something to that effect.
I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, if you even a GoPro, if you put a 1 terabyte memory card in a GoPro, the battery is going to die way before the card. GoPro batteries only last like 2.5 hours at the most on a good day. So those are out, and like a DSLR camera, I know my Nikon battery only lasts me 80 pictures.
yeah, I have a DSLR camera, and the batteries, you have to have multiple batteries.
Oh yeah, you can't just have one.
Yeah,
There's no way.
because it runs down super quick.
Yeah, especially if you use the video features on my Nikon. Oh my god, it kills the battery in like 12 minutes of video.
Yeah, I have the Canon M50, and it's the same way. It literally, in just no time,
Yeah, you can
will
watch
run it down.
you can watch the little battery bars disappear as you record.
Right. It drains batteries super quick.
Yeah, so I don't know what you'd put out there other than an exterior IP wireless camera, but then you still got to get power to it.
What about like a oh shit, my mind just went blank. Solar.
Well, you could do it, but then you got to hide a battery.
Solar don't work at night.
Well,
No, but
you charge it
That's
all
right.
day.
Yeah, you charge the battery all day with solar, and then you hook the battery up to it.
Well, with a charge controller,
12
you just
hours?
leave it on there. Yeah, you get 12 hours out of a camera, out of it, like a motorcycle battery or something.
That's what I was thinking, an external battery, something hooked up
But
to
you're
it, or
talking
like
about-
a battery bank.
I mean, you're talking about a MacGyver set up in the woods, though. That's a lot of stuff to have set up out in the woods. I just don't see it as really being that feasible.
Well, those
Okay,
battery
so
banks are pretty small.
Kohberger has one other idea: a game cam aimed at the upstairs bedroom window.
Yeah, you can do a game cam. It just depends on how far out it detects motion.
Right.
Most of those, they got to be pretty close to the camera for a decent photo. At
And it
least the ones
depends
that
on
we
your
use.
depends on your settings. Uh, I think some game cams you can do like rapid shot on them,
Yeah, or video.
or yeah, video one shot every so often, and all that.
Well, I know everyone that owns a cabin around my bar,
Hmm.
they all have the game cameras with cellular on their driveways.
Yeah, you can, and that's what P Fox was asking. What did your cams run on? You can do solar. They have the triple or double A batteries. You can get them that use double A. You can get them with the what is the big square batteries, or those
Yep.
8 volts or
Yep.
whatever. You can get them with that.
The ones that I'm seeing these guys use are just a regular game camera with a couple antennas sticking out of it, and
Oh,
I want to say 8 AA batteries
yeah,
because it actually transmits video.
yeah. It can. You can
Right.
have it sent to your phone and all
Yep,
that.
it texts you.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like ring cameras, pretty much.
I get phone calls. I bet you I average probably 5 a month. Hey, can you go check on my place? Someone's in my driveway.
Yeah.
Because they're 3.5 hours away, and I'm way
Crystal Lynn
closer
has
than
a
the
thought.
cops.
Crystal Lynn has a thought, ladies and gentlemen. What if the camera was just being used to look at the girls from a distance? And I believe we brought that up just a second ago.
I think that's if it's true. I think that's what it was doing. But does Brian have something to do with that?
I mean, let's face it; these are pretty girls.
Right.
No doubt. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they're very pretty girls. So I mean,
And that's where they were saying about the whole what the motive could be. It could have been rage and rejection, and one of these girls, if he had a certain target, could have looked like or had similar looks to the first girl that ever rejected him.
some girl in high school and
Right, because
crushed his heart.
they said that he was picked on and bullied by girls in high school whenever he was overweight and all that, and then that's the reason why he lost all the weight and basically changed during that time, plus the drugs and all that.
As
Yeah, it seems to me
crazy as it sounds, it makes actual sense though.
Yeah, it's just of trying to figure out which girl would have been the target, because there's you have Kaylee and Maddie. I'm sorry, Kaylee and not Kaylee, Maddie and Xana that worked at the vegan restaurant or at Mad Greek that serves vegan food. Bryan is vegan, so he could have crossed paths with them and thought that one of these girls might have looked like someone from his past. Then you've got Kaylee, who had already moved out but just happened to be back in town for the weekend to hang out with her friends and show Maddie her car and all this and that. And then that's the reason why he did what he did on that night, because of her being in town. It also could have been the fact that we know that he studied criminology and criminal justice and all this and that. He would have known, it being a party house, that there's going to be a lot of DNA. So, what do you do if you want to commit a murder? You want to do it around a time that there's a party with a lot of people in the house. There was a party the night before that. They're claiming 150 people. So the next night he goes in, there's still all these other kids' DNA in the house.
Well, it's everywhere,
Right.
floor to ceiling.
And if his is in there and it's not his blood or his DNA mixed with their blood, and they find it somewhere else, can he just say, yeah, they had a party and I was there at the house at one of the parties? Is that something that his attorney can argue?
Of course they could. How are you
Yeah.
going to know if somebody's there when there's 150? Now there's only one side to the story. If he says he was there, he was there. Who's going to argue it?
Right. Because 150 people, if they're
There's no way to
college
keep
kids.
track of all those.
Right. Well, I
In a
mean, and
party situation.
yeah, it's college kids. They're partying. They're probably a lot of them are probably drinking. Um, they're not going to pay attention to who comes in and who comes out, and they have friends from WSU and all that. And he could just be like, I'm from WSU, and nobody probably would have even thought anything of it if somebody would have asked him. Let's see, I'm wondering if BK's sister has had suspicion about him since he started being interested in the SKs and choosing the professors he has chosen to study under.
Good thought.
I don't know, but she put two and two together with the whole wearing the gloves in the parents' house and Brian's car being the same kind of car they were looking for and him living close. So she maybe didn't think about it before that, but maybe thinking back about it. Because the one sister, isn't she a therapist?
I
I
thought
know
I heard that.
I know she's in the medical field. I want to say I heard she was a psychologist, maybe, and maybe she's thinking back before that and thinking, okay, well, because they got to be thinking like, what did we miss something somewhere?
Well,
Like, did
Tad just said, "Is it me or is there always people who see signs of these killers but just end up dropping the ball?" Hey, hindsight is 2020. Everything
yeah,
is much clearer when other pieces are in front of you. You know,
right,
sometimes it takes those other pieces to make you say, "Hey, wait a minute, I committed this to memory. Why?" It
yeah,
just
maybe maybe she maybe she noticed things before all this, like just while he was studying all this and reading about BTK, and she just didn't think anything of it because you could very easily be like, okay, well, he's just studying stuff like that. That's what he's going to college for. But then whenever something like that comes out and it actually happens, then she's probably thinking back and being like, damn, I thought about it, but and then I thought, I noticed him doing this or he said that or so they're probably playing back a lot of stuff in their minds. So Melissa Kohberger is or was a mental health therapist in New Jersey. Okay, so that would have been the one that they said that lost her job in the medical field, and they didn't know why.
FAFO said in two different posts. He said, in his opinion, Kohberger had this all planned out step by step, very particular and calculated. In his mind, it was the perfect crime. To which I always say there's no such thing as the perfect crime because in the end, you always get caught.
Mm-hmm. But that's what the guy on the episode said. He's played this crime over and over and over in his mind constantly.
oh yeah, he's laid in bed and stared at the ceiling
Right.
and thought about
Which
this for
is why I
a
get
Yeah,
long
what
time.
FAFO was saying.
yeah,
That's why I got what FAFO was saying. Man, if he's gonna keep replaying it over and over and over again, you think it's perfect. There's no way I can get caught
yeah. And on top of him
until he got
being
caught.
OCD, right? He's OCD, so everything's got to be a certain way. He has control issues. He's a
Mm-hmm.
huge ego, so he thinks that he can
Oh yeah.
master this and get away with it. Uh, so yeah, and the exact words that the guy on the episode said was he's committed this crime multiple times in his mind. That's verbatim what the guy said. And more than likely that's true. I mean, there's no telling. Like I believe whenever he bought the knife, he he had thoughts at that time.
He bought that knife with a purpose.
And it was said that he has to get familiar with the knife. He has to be comfortable with the knife,
Right.
because that's the reason why he bought it. Like he knew he was going to do something. He had that urge or whatever. He just didn't know when or to who and all that. And I think that's probably
Mm-hmm.
where the four victims come in once he realized that those were going to be the ones, and he starts planning this whole thing out.
Tonka
Hey,
thinks Dateline's full of shit.
well, and Tonka, how are you? I mean, it's all law enforcement sources, so
Is it though?
that's
Why?
what they're saying on there. That
Hmm.
law
Why
enforcement,
is Sleuthy publicly calling someone else out as being this possible source? I can't see her doing that if she wasn't pretty sure.
yeah,
Right.
that's what Dateline kept saying that they're law enforcement sources.
Mm.
And then last
FAFO
night
is saying this. Oh, go ahead.
there was
Go ahead.
there was something that we had talked about last night, and somebody had asked where that was set at, and I couldn't remember if it was the an officer from Pennsylvania. All I remember was somebody from Pennsylvania. It was about him being in the kitchen when they raided the house, and then he was putting his personal trash in the Ziplocs. That actually came from the DA in Pennsylvania.
Oh, it did?
Yeah, they because that was something else that was mentioned today too, that I heard in the episode that they were talking about whenever that to no surprise he was awake at 1:30 in the morning whenever they served the search warrant, and that he was in the kitchen with gloves on putting his personal trash into Ziplocs, and that is
Hmm.
from the prosecutor in Pennsylvania.
I asked that.
Okay, I remember somebody asking, and then somebody asking where that was set at, or where it came from, or whatever. I knew it came from somebody in Pennsylvania. I thought it was the cop, but it was actually the DA that said it.
The DA wasn't there though. That's just I don't know, man. All this bullshit drives me crazy. I just want some truth, some actual facts, some actual evidence.
Yeah, and really, the actual facts that we have right now is that 4 kids have been murdered.
That's it.
That's honestly, and it's somebody's been arrested for it and charged for it and indicted on it, and everything else is just pretty much hearsay at this
Yeah,
point.
someone's been arrested, but a lot
You
of
know
people's
how
been
we do
convicted
with hearsay
wrongly.
around here.
Wait, do what now?
You know how we deal with hearsay.
Yeah, it's I don't know. This whole case is just it's like a roller coaster of crap, honestly.
That was a feeling
Uh,
I had when it first went down. So I said, you know what? Time to strap in because we're gonna it's gonna get bumpy before it's all over.
yeah. And they also said that the reason why he chose the type of knife that he did is because he wanted to get up close and personal, which I can see. You use a knife is completely different than using.
Yeah, but that's not an up close and personal knife. That son of a bitch is 8 inches long? That's a
Oh my
big
god,
knife.
that's
My
Yeah,
K-bar is huge.
something that's almost Crocodile Dundee ish.
I mean, a K-bar is not a short knife.
no, it's
I,
it's it's big.
They're not that big.
there's at least 7 or 8 inches.
Yeah,
I
they're.
got one right here.
I'd measure mine, but mine's down in my car.
It's not your average pocket knife. We'll say
That's for
that.
sure.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I have my grandfather's from the Korean War.
Let's see what else. Okay, I should have been marking stuff off as I was. Let's see. Oh, and then it was asked about why the knife sheath was left, or what was their opinion on it. The guy said he would call it a dissociative blip that happened. Basically, he zoned out when he was doing what he did on the third floor.
The total length of the knife is 30 centimeters, and the blade length itself is 7 inches. So that's
Yeah.
almost a 10-inch knife. That's a big knife. I don't think mine's that big. I don't think my blade. I think my blade's only 6 inches. But
I
that's
got a cookery you love.
I like things that go pew pew. I don't like to get personal. I'm too slow for that shit. I want at least 10 feet between me and whoever's having a problem with me.
I know that's it. Shoot.
Sometimes you run out of bullets, though. You
Not
gotta
at
need
my
that backup.
not at my fucking house. No
That's
way.
why you have multiples.
Yeah, there's no way I'm running out of my house, my car, my truck. No.
Yeah, you have multiples.
Everything for
I
every
still
occasion.
remember driving around with a shotgun and a rifle in the back of my truck,
Yeah,
hanging in the
I
back
remember.
window
I remember
on a
bringing my
rack.
shotgun to high
Ooh.
school because we were going trap shooting after school, and one of my teachers wanted to see it, and going outside at lunchtime playing with my 12 gauge in the parking lot.
And they didn't think nothing about it during that
That was
time.
no damn big deal at that time.
No.
Yeah, because
Carolyn,
our judicial
yeah.
system actually
Worked.
convicted people of crimes.
People
Now
don't.
you do crimes and you just get let go, slapped on the wrist.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna call it a little early tonight, folks. Thanks
Okay.
for having me up.
Oh, you're
Uh,
welcome. Thanks for coming up.
Did you send me the specs on your
get,
computer?
No, I haven't
get
done
some
that
good
yet.
rest, man.
Thanks,
I
brother.
can do that though after the live. I'll send it all
Yeah,
to
I'll take a
you.
look at it first thing in the morning
Okay.
because I have a funny feeling you need to do exactly what I did, and that's just buy a very inexpensive graphics card and drop it in your tower.
No, I don't want to do that.
It's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, but I
It
ordered.
literally takes 30 seconds to install it,
Yeah, I know, but
and then everything plugs into your machine.
well, I did order because I have just the one HDMI port on the back, and then I have the display port on the back.
Yeah.
So I just ordered tonight that where you plug into the display port on the back of the computer, and then the other end of it is where you plug in an HDMI cord to it.
Oh, so you're talking about a blue pin?
I don't know. I
It's a,
sent you the
it's a,
picture of it off of
okay.
Amazon.
It's a blue connector, I'm sure.
Yeah, so that's what I ordered, and I'm just gonna send the splitter back, and because I don't need it. I can
Yeah, because
one.
those things, like I said, they don't work.
Yeah, I mean it works,
Sorry,
but
sorry, I
it's
was getting at least one dig in.
it works fine. It just doesn't extend my screen.
Right,
It mirrors my screen,
exactly.
and I was getting irritated.
It's an
So,
exact image.
but everything that I read, and even there was a thing on Microsoft that I read, you can use a splitter and you can make it extend your screen, and it didn't do that. So,
Well, there's different splitters out there.
well,
And I learned, like I said, I learned the hard way too.
so I'm just
I
gonna
thought it was
send
gonna be
that one.
easy. I'm like, all you need to do is split it out, no problem.
That's what I thought too. But
I
so
got
I'm gonna send it back, and I ordered the other thing, and it'll be here Monday, and then I'll have both of my screens, and I won't have any more available ports on the computer, but I'll still have my two screens.
Here's another lesson for you. Never try to run HDMI more than 60 feet, or you're gonna get stuck with a very expensive cable that doesn't work.
Oh no, it's all on my desk, so it's not.
Oh no, I'm just telling you another thing I
Oh,
learned the
okay,
hard way that cost me
okay,
a whole bunch of money
okay.
because I tried to
Yeah,
return the cable and they said nope,
they won't do it. Okay.
nope, and it does not work. You get over 60 feet and it stops working unless
Oh,
you have
okay.
very expensive repeaters. So on that note,
All right.
you guys have a great night and we'll talk tomorrow.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming up. Have a good
You
night.
too.
Adios.
All right.
Good night.
Hey, we were just talking. We were just talking guns and knives just a little bit ago. Carolyn Oss Miller just took me back to my military training. She said it could have been a bayonet.
I don't
A
know.
bayonet. A bayonet for everybody who's just who just missed out what that could be. That's a knife attached to at least when I was training an M16.
I don't. I don't know. They're claiming that they have it where he bought the knife in the sheet. So I'm guessing that they are convinced that that's what he used. Just because they know that he bought it. He bought it from Amazon, and did he not think that him buying this knife and sheath, that if he goes and does something like this, that they're going to go back and retrace everything and see where he bought it? I mean, he claims that he's a smart person and that he's egotistical to the point that he's wants to be smarter than the police, but that's not being very smart. Basically leaving a digital trail. Hey Don, how are you? See, bayonet and a K-bar are different. Yes. Yeah, another victim's back then. Caroline, no. When he bought the knife, I don't believe he did, unless he come across them on social media, because at that same time that he bought the knife, he already knew that he was going to Washington. Hold on just 1 second, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see. I saw another comment. Now I've lost it. Oh crap. Bernice, how are you? Let's see. Is
Do you remember
BK
who made that
guilty?
comment?
I'm sorry. Do what?
Do you remember who made that comment?
No, I saw the comment, but it's probably already too far up in the chat. Is BK guilty until proven innocent? No, he is innocent until
Right.
proven guilty. Let's see, and Coppendorfer getting crapped on Twitter. Yeah, I need to catch up on Twitter. I haven't done that today. Okay, let me get back to my notes. Okay. So they also said, which I could understand this too, or it makes sense, that whenever a person does something like this and they do, like, they're, I guess, becoming a mass murderer, or they're becoming an SK or whatever, that the first time that they murder somebody, they get a high from it. Like it's
I can believe that.
like an adrenaline rush type thing. And they said that they had also made a comment on there that whenever a person does that for the first time, at that time they become the person that they are, which makes sense. Okay, so and I wrote this down too. If so, then what about the next time that a woman would have rejected him? So let's say he would have not been caught when he was. He's already done this to the 4 kids, and they're claiming that it could be because he was rejected, and he had rage over that. Okay, so what happens if the next woman comes along and he tries to talk to her or go out on a date with her or whatever, and she rejects him? Is that going to cause him to go and murder somebody else? Let's see. The need to SK literally becomes drug like heroin. Hey, Musical, how are you? Who else was awake late? Did you see who else was awake late last night with us? Reba, who are you talking about? So makes you wonder if it was a planted sheath, if it wasn't the right sheath for the knife used. I'm wondering if he planted it, dropped it, and didn't pay attention. Like, I want to know what the hell the motive was. I don't think it's solely on the fact that he's been bullied by women and picked on by women and rejected and all that.
It's got to be something else other than that.
Right. I mean,
I
you
say if he did it, you're never gonna know the motive. He ain't gonna say.
probably not. Maybe the only way that we would ever know a motive is if he kept a journal of what he did and why he did it. That possibly would be the only way. It's the law of diminishing effects. The first time you get a high that lasts a while, each time after that, the high has a shorter effect, so they amp up the frequency. That makes sense too. No way that. No way says he probably keeps unaliving the first squirrel over and over. I mean,
That kind of reminds me of a episode of Criminal Minds that I've seen similar to this.
hmm
The same description.
ow. Ah, I don't know.
Well,
It's just
a lot of the SKs, the silly, yeah, a lot of those guys they go after similar looking people over and over again.
and it that knife I think is what he would have continued to use. Like that would have been his best friend. They go through it together. If that makes sense. Hey Jessica, how are you? Let's see. Being a member of the opposite sex does not give you the right to take their lives if they do not want your advances. Don, I agree with you, especially when you have called and creepy eyes. Yeah, I agree. It's there's no reason at all to for what happened to these kids. And hey Teresa, how are you? It's just I
Evil.
yeah, and I
There's
think
evil in this world.
I think that whenever all the evidence does start coming out, we are going to be completely shocked. See, but the shitty fact is, he has this memory of what he did, and he can always revisit the assaults in his head. This is something nobody can take away from him, and that comes into that whole control, ego, narcissistic thing. He knows that that's the one thing they can't take away from him, and that was another thing. Him doing it to the girls, and even Ethan, like he knew that he could take their lives and there was nothing they could do, and that was probably part of his the high that he got from it. Is the whole control thing. He controlled the situation, and there was nothing they could do.
So I've never watched this Dateline thing. Did they actually add any new factual information, or just people talking about
um I didn't hear anything that would have been based on facts other than them saying that they knew that he bought the knife from Amazon, and there was a
And
search
who said
warrant
that though?
that
The
was
LE?
well, Ellie's sources is who was giving Dateline all this information. I think that may be the only thing that would have been factual. I don't think there was anything else that I can remember that had any facts to it.
But I can't take, these random sources as factual.
Right.
I need
Yeah.
receipt.
Yeah. I think that would be the only thing. And the only reason why I'm saying that that's the only thing is because we do know that they did do a search warrant for Amazon, and they came back. I can pull that one up if I can find it on this list. I think it's up here at the top. Um, hold on, let me go to the return on here. Yeah. All right, let me pull this up.
I think like all these media sites are just money grabbing, clicks and likes,
Yeah,
views.
that's what a lot of them are doing.
That's about
The ID
as bad as it is here.
the ID cards do not belong to any of the victims. Yeah, Caroline, they came out and said that their sources told them that too. That it was because in the warrant return it says that it was ID cards found in a glove in a box. Dateline is claiming that their sources said that it was two IDs that belonged to two different women, and that neither one of those women were the victims. But how do we know that that's true? Because that's just coming from a source. Just like they said that it wasn't true that Bryan had sent multiple messages on social media to one of the victims. So we got some people saying he did. We got some people saying that he didn't. It can only be one of the two. Either he did or he didn't. And how do
And
we
Teresa
know?
Smith is saying that the timeline just doesn't add up.
Okay, wait. I missed Teresa's. Hey, Tracy. Where did Teresa's go?
Did he do any
I'm,
type of security work in Pullman?
I'm looking.
No. He did
Said
the
the timeline
interview.
didn't add up.
He did the interview with Pullman Police, and he didn't get the job, and he ended up getting hired as a TA at WSU.
I just know when I did security work, I found IDs and stuff, and I held them until I was able to turn them, like drop them. You could drop them in like the little posts, the mail slots. You can drop them in there.
Yeah. Now he did do security work and when he was still living in Pennsylvania, for the school district. He did do that, and I want to say that I read that it was basically all he had to do was there was multiple uh, buildings that he would have to drive to. I'm guessing in multiple schools or whatever, and he would just have to go around and make sure that, like, all the doors were locked, that there wasn't nobody there that wasn't supposed to be there, no broken windows, stuff like that.
Yeah, I had to do security in San Francisco for Wells Fargo and Citibank.
That would have been an interesting job.
Yeah, it was overnight. I had to check like all the different banks and their ATM vegetables, and all the homeless people would go in there and do drugs and
Yeah,
everything else. It
yeah.
was
So
it was
that
gross.
that would have been basically the same thing that he was doing. He was just doing it for the schools in the district there. Let's see. Let's see. I'm thinking one or two of the girls was talking, and maybe to BK since maybe he was trying, with the police. I'm just trying to catch up real quick in chat. Oh, and this thing that I have pulled up here. This is a receipt in the inventory of the warrant from Amazon. Let's see. See the property found and taken in the location upon within or upon said place in the person or as followed, and that was the description of the property. It's that number from Amazon K-bar, full size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife. Uh, and I believe it's the okay. No, there's a leather sheath with the USMC logo on it. The K-bar 1217S. I believe that's the number you go look up if you want to put that into Amazon, and it should bring it up. The one that they're claiming that he had. Jan, you doing okay tonight? Hey Annie, how are you? So I saw a news clip about the Parkland case. Saw a lady being asked her opinion about the Parents Guild under her name. It just said mother. I googled her husband running for local government. Just trying to make sure I haven't missed anybody coming in the chat tonight either.
Matt Smith had a comment saying that profiling is like weather forecasting, and I agree with that. You got to be highly skilled to profile.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to get into
Not
my
not
email.
just the crazy behavior.
Okay, so all the secret court proceedings strongly suggest a cover up to me. And to a hell of a lot of other people. Is Kohberger involved in some way? Probably, in my opinion, on his own. Seriously doubt it. Okay. Hey, see you later. How are you? You're still looking good. Tony, how are you? Okay, so sheath was too small for the weapon used to make the wounds, according to the coroner. Now, I do remember Mr. Gonzalez coming out and saying that Kaylee's wounds were worse than Maddie's. And that they were they gaping wounds? Is that the term that he used?
Gaping wounds.
I want to say that's the word that he used. That the coroner told him. That Kaylee's wounds were like they were huge, basically.
Yeah, yeah. That does sound like a term he would use. He being the
Okay,
corner.
go ahead.
I said that would sound like a term you would use to describe such a wound of that size.
Gaping wide open. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember whenever they were talking about that.
I
Two
don't believe
had
what that coroner said. I think that lady's trash.
I don't think she's very professional by calling the family of a deceased kid and telling the 17-year-old little sister graphic details.
Mm.
That I think she should have only spoken to the parents and that's it.
I've asked this
Marissa,
question before.
I love. She says, "Yep, just throwing stuff out to see what sticks. Trust me, I'm a professional." Sus to me.
I just wonder if only one weapon was used. I still keep wondering about that.
Somebody had and it might have been you that asked that before, Ray. But I remember that being brought up because there had been multiple, or maybe no, I guess more than one. Let's just say that because multiple could be mean different things, but more than one weapon. I
And
remember
then
that being
another
brought
thing
up.
I think about is whoever did this must have been one cool cucumber because he just walked out and Dylan watched him walk out, not run. You know what I mean? Not try to hurry, just walked out.
And then goes back to school, goes back to work, goes to the doctor, celebrates his birthday, does like his whole uh the license plates on his car, and just went about his life like nothing had ever happened. It's that's what you call, if he is the person who done this, that is what you call a very cold, emotionless person that has no regard for human life whatsoever.
or it was a job. I still have that blinking warning sign in my head that says Sicario.
Mm.
I don't know. I still think somebody helped him. I think they're. Oh, I'm sorry, Werewolf Queen. Yes, Heartless too. I still think there was somebody else involved. Some people can become it, but he would have had. He was detached before he done it. Like he just went in like he wasn't worried about nothing. Uh, he wasn't just. I don't know. I know there's people out there that can do something like that and it not even bother them the least little bit. But I mean, damn, he like four kids. No way. It's um, I'm trying to be careful with my words.
Please.
No way. Sicario is a Mexican cartel hitman.
Oh, there you go.
DiCaprio is a.
And
Hey, JC.
now that I'm thinking about they've been talking so much about how quick he got it done. I'm starting to subscribe to that theory of that there could have been more than one murder weapon, not just that one knife.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they came out and said that there was more than one weapon. I do believe they were subdued in some manner, and they likely saw. Uh, it it's to the point now where it nothing with this even surprises me because there's so much craziness around it.
Somebody making mention about fact checking. They may have to do this more than we would most politicians. This particular case here.
Let's see. Coroner could be school crossing guard. They don't need any medical credentials.
Hmm.
What was it that we were watching and they said that you only have to take a so many day course? I think that was in Lori's case. That wasn't in this one though, I think.
Thanks, Tad Russell. I'm trying here.
Ray Jones, how are you? Oh well, Bernice. Okay. Let me. Y'all. I was supposed to be in my email 5 minutes ago. Ray, you're very welcome. Okay, let me see. Do you have? Who's notes here in Cabo? So Annie, you're in Cabo.
Lucky dog.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to go to Cabo.
Any beach.
Yeah.
I, I've always heard it was better in the Bahamas.
I don't know. I'm a Pisces. I'm a fish. I love the water.
They
That's what I'm
they
saying.
they were
The
they
Bahamas.
were putting it out not to go to like Cabo and all that. They were saying all that a while back.
I
Yeah,
want to go
better
to
than
Puerto
going.
Rico and swim in bioluminescence.
Hmm.
That's glowing water.
That don't even sound good. Okay, give me a second, y'all. Let me see because I have two different things in my email. And I put this one in there today. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up. Reba, how are you?
Hey, hey.
Let's see.
How you doing?
You doing okay tonight?
I am good.
Hola,
So,
señorita.
do you get my email?
Uh, I don't know. Hold on. Let me check. Let's see. Yes, I did.
Isn't that interesting?
It's got six different. Are these
So,
screenshots?
yes. So apparently, in the Facebook group that I follow, Bryan Kohberger was on his iPad in the jail all the way till midnight last night.
Jeez.
Well, wait. I thought they said that
My,
they got them till like a certain time at night,
They
and then
did,
they.
but they said they were clocking him, and that's what was odd was the Dateline aired. He got indicted the same week, and then all of a sudden, one day out of the week, on. His status is online until almost midnight last night. So they're saying that he had a slumber party with his lawyer.
Yeah, defense
you know
has
what?
slumber party with Bryan over the evidence and pleading guilty without death sentence.
Yeah,
But how did we know that that's true?
right.
You
But
know.
the screen capture does show his status online.
Okay.
Now, still, you got to wonder who the source was behind that.
So
Right.
all right. So I've talked about this in the chat before. My brother's in Angola and Louisiana.
Uh huh.
And you can see, as long as you have their inmate number and their first and last name, you can go potentially at, as long as you know what system they use, you could see if they're online, send them messages and stuff like that. I can send my brother a text off of my phone at any time I want, and it goes to his system. They use in Angola, um, I forget the name of it. It's JPay. They use JPay for Angola.
Uh huh.
So I just open up the JPay app and it can do FaceTime videos, emails, and direct messages.
Maybe that's what they were. I mean, it's a possibility that he could have been on there with his attorney, but how would they know that he's
I have
like,
no idea. I just thought it was interesting. I was like, oh, I'll email this.
yeah, saying that he was, that they had a slumber party over the evidence and pleading guilty without the death penalty?
Unless he was watching you.
Watching me?
Yeah, because you was on last night.
LJD3 says maybe Ashley Banfield finally got a hold of him.
Oh, on her butt. Yeah. I mean, who knows? There's no telling like who calls him, and I don't know. Maybe
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. He has court Monday.
true. So it
So,
could be like some last minute.
right.
Uh,
So I live with my niece and nephew here in Houston,
mhm.
and she is the head paralegal for one of the biggest lawyers out here, right?
uh,
And it's the same way with them. I've been helping them when I'm not on the truck as a paramedic. They squeeze in everything for their jury trials and everything like that. So, I mean, it makes sense. Is And it also makes sense too that if he does want to plead guilty, then we'll never hear anything, or
Yep,
he doesn't have to
that's
tell
true.
us anything, and he can do that without telling her. He could tell her up to the last second that he's going to plead not
dude,
guilty,
if
and
he
then when the
tells
judge asks him,
and
he could
he
say
pleads
guilty, and that's
guilty,
it. We're not going to know
can
nothing.
can you imagine if he tells Ann Taylor all the way to the very end he's going to plead not guilty, and then he pleads guilty and don't tell her?
But think about, that's how he is, the narcissist way
The
with women that
controlling
he is.
issue.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's how he's been.
I would love to see the face. If he does that, I would love to see her face. Cuz y'all
Yes.
can y'all imagine the look on her face if he was to
Not
do that?
only that,
It
but her
would,
paycheck ends.
Yeah,
her jaw would be literally on the floor.
it would.
Yes.
It would hit the floor so hard it would break the table.
And all of their paychecks end. So
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to point out is about another weapon is pay attention to how they're pointing out the gun issue.
Okay, and that's in these screenshots also?
No, it's on, I think she said something on Dateline about it. And then if you go back and read all of your affidavits and stuff, pay attention to the listings, how they focus on the pistol.
And they mentioned a gun on Dateline?
Yeah. It was either this one or the one before, but they just,
Okay.
yeah, just pay attention and you'll see that they highlight it, but then they do like a bait switch and then make you think twice about it. But then
Okay.
when you look at the documents online, why are they focusing so much on handguns if it was a knife?
Okay. Because I didn't watch the first Dateline one.
Yeah.
So that may be why I didn't hear about the gun.
Now you
But I'm gonna
see
have to go
why
back
I'm
and
starting
watch
to
it.
support that theory.
Mhm.
Yeah, because there was
But
one
a lot of,
found
a lot of the,
at his
a
parents'
lot of the
house.
focus is on the knife.
Right.
A lot of
So
the focus is on the knife now.
the one that was found at his parents' house, they collected it and then they listed it different places, like hyper focused on it. Why? Why are you hyper focused on a pistol if it was the knife?
Right.
Right?
And if I think it was a 22. So I'm gonna tell you, as a paramedic running 911s in New Orleans, the 22 is the hardest for us to do on scene because someone can shoot you with a 22, and as a medic, I can never find the hole because the 22 is meant to go in and bounce around until it finds an exit, and it's a small, small hole.
Right.
So what if it was used and then he used a knife? That would explain how he subdued so fast.
Okay. I see where you're going with it.
Right. But I didn't catch on to that until I started reading and everything. He said, "Well, okay, why are they so hyper focused on this pistol? They keep stressing the sheath. It was a knife. Now they stressed last night that they found the receipt. Okay,
Hmm.
but you're still listing the gun. Why?"
That's an interesting thought.
Very interesting.
So the other thing I want to point out too is last year this time I lived in Moscow. Okay, I
Hmm.
did wildlands firefighter stuff. I don't understand, and I know where you are, so I'm trying to pick out a place that we mutually would know to explain it. Moscow is very, very small.
Okay.
It they only have two main streets going through that goes in front of the college. One side of the town goes to Pullman, the other one goes to what's the other city with the explorers that he went towards?
Uh, oh shit. I know that wasn't there a Johnson mentioned, and
No, it's
then what was the other one?
it's the explorer's name.
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, something like that. But so side goes that way, the other side goes to Pullman. There's only, those old country cities where you only have Main Street. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
All right. There's two streets like that in Moscow. Then they have housing, like houses, or the most of it is multi houses, like the girls lived in, okay, for off campus, but still on campus living. And I've told you before, the DoorDash thing didn't make sense to me either because they have the robots that deliver food.
Hmm.
Then
Freya just
once you go
Freya just said it was
past
a
the
Glock
main
22.
once you go past the main streets, it's nothing but fields.
It
And
goes out
there's
into like the rural areas or whatever.
yes, it's rural immediately, not even a mile away from the main strip. It's rural, and the houses are more than a mile apart.
Hmm.
So I talked about it in chat on another channel tonight too. The gas station that they keep highlighting that they caught the car on first at the A&W,
Right.
that gas station is in the middle of the main strip. It catches both ways. It's a main pivot point.
Yeah,
To
that's
the to
Main
the
Street
left,
through there, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
To the left is towards Pullman and the girls' house. To the right is the other way. That's it. The that's you catch everyone coming in and out because it's only one way.
Right.
And then I heard somewhere else that there's only over 3,500 cameras in it. There's no way there's over 3,500 cameras in that area. It's too rural.
True.
It is
I mean,
very, very small.
there's towns like that in Louisiana.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it's you
See,
have your town.
I was gonna tell you maybe it was kind of like Pineville a little bit,
Okay.
but it more 90th Pineville, if that makes more sense to you.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
the 90s, that area. Um,
Yeah,
it's
because you got Pineville and then Alexandria right there close to it.
right, but the
But
closer you get to Camp Beauregard, that's what it's like. More
yeah,
rural, spread
right.
out. It's very, very small. And to get to
Hmm.
Pullman, it is like a 20-minute drive, but it is very rural. So you're driving through
Basically the sticks.
fields.
Yeah.
Yes.
Corn
There's no trees, it's
farm
all fields.
farmlands and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's
Yeah.
hills, and I mean, I have pictures that I can email you from when I lived in Moscow and show you how there's no trees. It's just rolling hills and grass, like wheat and stuff like that. That's it. Most of it is open,
Yeah, there's places like that here where it's just
right?
you leave the city and it just goes to straight farmland.
And Pullman is the same way. You pull in, it's a main street. They have they have a couple university, like the university is WSU is bigger. Like they
Hmm.
have a veterinarian program there. They have the criminal, so it's all broken up kind of like LSU,
Hmm.
but it's all within a radius.
Right.
It's all condensed, kind of like downtown New Orleans with where Charity Hospital used to be, and now across the street you have University and you have Tulane, all of that. But it's still, once you get past the heart of it, it's spread out.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of cities like that in Louisiana. It's very, I'd say they're congested. Is what I say.
That's
They're
why when they say, especially last night, when they said that they have the evidence in what we believe, I believe it because there's no way, the way it's set up, you're gonna see who's coming in and out. If he came in and out 15 times, it's gonna be obvious. They're so small and rural, even though it's party town. Once you get past the main street and where they're all staying, if there is only one car on the street, you're gonna see it.
right.
It's pitch
Yeah.
black.
Yeah. It. I mean that makes sense. And they also did say on that Dateline thing regarding the white car that was on the gas station
Mm-hmm.
surveillance camera that you were talking about. They did say that they determined that that was a white Elantra.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once again, that's coming from sources. So we don't know if it's facts.
No.
This
And
is
the
just
only other thing interesting that my jaw dropped with Dateline is when they said his sister thought he did it and went and looked at his car.
yeah. Once again, that's another thing that they put out that we don't know if it's true or not. But that if that is true, that's very interesting. I mean, but his sister's she's a smart girl too. You
Do
know,
we know for sure if Brian Kohberger's car's windows were tinted or not tinted?
uh, I don't.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think in the body cam footage where he was pulled over in Indiana. You know, in the one footage, he rolls his window up because the cop is on the passenger side. So Brian rolls his window up because they can't hear anything because of the traffic. And if it's
But
tinted,
I
I
thought
don't.
I thought they weren't tinted, and that vehicle that's in the picture from that gas station has tinted windows.
Yeah, I don't. Now you know how like they have some vehicles like the front windows won't be tinted, but the back ones are. His car may be like that, but I don't think when he rolled that window up, I don't think it had tint on it. And I don't it maybe not even factory tint where it's just a little bit.
Yeah, but see, as a first responder, I don't believe that malarkey either because if it's on camera, it depends what type of camera it is. It was shot at night, depends on the angle.
And the picture that we saw it was taken with a phone. The picture
Right,
was off of a computer monitor,
right.
which made
So
it,
to me, that's irrelevant.
yeah, it
Not
was,
only that, but I have tinted windows and I can pull it off at any time because I did it myself. So
yeah. Yeah, I
I
know
don't,
some cars
yeah.
have the factory tint, but it's not like you can still see through it from the outside. So I don't know if his had that on it, but I don't think his windows were tinted. Let's see. Okay, so gas station car identified as 2011 to 2013 Elantra by FBI expert Brian Draws 2015. Jury will eat that up. Hey, Pickle Me Elmo, how are you? Yellow, how are you? See, I think car was cleaned. Wait, I think car is clean. Wrong car, or maybe a diversion, so Ellie gets confused. Hell, everybody, Bernice is confused. Let's see. Windows. I don't know. There's too much back and forth, and with this case, they say one thing, they turn around and say something else. Uh,
But that's part of the gag order problem. You have a gag
yeah.
order in place for a reason because it's high profile.
Well,
So
I
then
mean,
these people can't step up and say, yo, cut this shit. This isn't
right?
right. Yeah.
Because I mean, some of the stuff that's came out, I would think that police could come out and debunk, and it still not hurt the case.
They're not going to let them know
You
the way
know?
it's
Yeah,
written.
I know.
Because,
It's
yeah, me and my niece sat down. Like I said, I follow it more because I live there. And it was like their house was like right there. So
yeah.
that's why it's more interesting to me because I've been there. So we sit down and we go over the court documents and she breaks it down from a legal point because I'm medical. You
Mhm.
give me something medical, I explain it to you. But
Right.
she explains it from a legal term to me to where I understand. And I'm like, okay, I get it now. But uh,
Yeah, this whole gag order thing, like I get why they did it, but I think it's to a point. I think it's a problem.
it is.
Yeah,
Now, Monday, because we have a new judge, even though he signed the temporary order, he can still change it.
right. And
But
they're gonna go over that after the
they're,
arraignment.
yeah, they're supposed to schedule.
Yeah. So
So now on
there's
another channel today, someone pulled up the fact that the IDs that they said that wasn't somebody, they said if you pull up the documents, there is somebody's last name that shows after the redacted part, and it's a total, like, Cromer or something like that, his last name. I've never seen that on any of the documents.
Do you know which document it is?
They said wherever it's got to be a PA document where it says ID and then it lists a name. But I've been looking for it ever since they said it a couple hours ago, but I can't find it.
Okay, and all of the PA documents are on my other computer. Wait, would a baby? Do y'all have the PA documents? If not, I'll have to get them off of my other computer tomorrow. So I have to charge the battery and all that to get them onto my new one. Let's see. I don't even remember what the PA website was.
I don't either. There's like that Facebook group today too. They asked about, oh, are we gonna get still watch it? And I was like, no, they changed it. I've seen the orders, like I've seen it on yours and
Yeah.
opinionated. I seen it on
Well,
his where
we'll
they
get to
changed it.
we'll get to watch it, but we're not going to get to watch it
Right,
live.
it's gonna be it's gonna be
Yeah.
delayed. And she came back and she was like, I need you to post documents. I was like, it's public record. Go pull it yourself.
Yeah, it's it's on the Idaho website. Because to begin with, they had it where, and this was before the grand jury came. We knew about it, and the arraignment was scheduled for Monday, and all this and that. They had literally put out the logins for the Zoom, and we were gonna. And they said, it could be live streamed.
Yeah, my niece said too. She's like, that is a huge mistake because they're gonna crash the server.
Well, they did it before in another guy's court proceedings, and there was a couple of YouTubers that didn't mute themselves out, and you could hear them talking during court. And then it was brought up to the judge when they went on break, and then the judge shut the whole thing down because they were showing other people's. It was one of those court days where you go in and they have multiple cases in one day, and it was showing everybody's, and some of the YouTubers could be heard talking while it was going on. So they're going to do it, loaded hot. I mean, it would have been nice to get to see it live, but if we're going to get to see it afterwards, then I'm grateful for that because we're still going to get to see it.
Something's better than nothing.
Right.
Hey,
you owe me a Coke.
Yeah.
Take it.
And that was the same with the Valo stuff. I mean, we didn't get to see it except for when they read the verdict, but I was so grateful enough that we did get to hear at least the audio out of it. So if they don't allow cameras in the courtroom for the trial, hopefully we will still at least get the audio from this one. But it would be really nice if we could watch it every day as it's happening and not have to wait till after court is done for the day. Let's see. Still want to know how they got 51 terabytes. That is just, I'm wondering if that may be like the video footage from around town, like from the different cameras and stuff like that. Possibly body cam footage that they've got. Maybe when the search warrants were being served.
All right, so about that. So you got to remember, we're playing chess, not checkers, right?
Yes.
Yep.
She kept pushing the issue multiple times. She wanted this, and this. Then she wasn't giving them time to produce it, and she was hitting them again. So by the third time is when you hit them with the compel, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The compel forces them. So she kept pushing. Then she got them to the edge. They turned around and was like, all right, you want it. Here it is. all 51 terabytes.
And they probably, whatever good stuff they got, they probably stuffed it in there somewhere where she's got to dig through every little bit of it just to find the good stuff. Okay, where's my email? Let me see if this is the stuff from Pennsylvania that we need. Because I want to know about this dude's name.
I do too.
Oh, wait. No. I don't want to exit off of this. Good Lord, I'm about to exit off everything on my screen, y'all.
Oh
Okay.
no.
I have to watch myself. I'll be done exit out of StreamYard. Not paying attention. Duncan, thank you so much for becoming a member and welcome to the family. Okay, let's. How many pages? Okay, this is 31 pages. So let me just pull this up. That way we can look through it and see. Do you remember, or did they say in what part of the document that this name was in? Reba, can you hear me? Did we lose Reba?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay. I'm gonna go back and look in a chat that I'm in and see if it's in there.
Okay.
But yeah, it wasn't a common last name, but she said, yeah, it's listed and it's not any of the girls' name. Because that was a speculation that, okay, well, what if it's the other two?
Okay, and it was about the IDs, right?
Yes, the ID.
Okay. Emerald Queen, thank you so much for being a member for 7 months. And she says, yay, I got my membership renewed and victory is mine. Why does the writing on these look different? Do they look different to y'all? I thought maybe this is a different one. I thought they all had sloppy handwriting on them. Okay, this is what they got out of the car. Okay, so that's right. Okay, that wasn't it. I gotta find the ID part. I think that was on the sloppy handwriting. Search warrant return. Okay, I gotta go through all these pages. I don't think this is gonna be the one. This is a PCA from Idaho. Get through all these. Okay, no, that wasn't it. Okay. So that wasn't it, but maybe I can get this website and see. I need to bookmark all these now. Okay. Oh, I got into the website. Now I just gotta find Bryan Kohberger's information. All right, y'all, give me a second. I am Commonwealth versus Kohberger. Okay, so search warrant on the Hyundai Elantra. Returning. So it would have been the search warrant on the house. So let me get this one pulled back up.
Every time you say "give me a second," my smart ass wants to say 1001.
That's okay, Ray. I'll let you buy with it.
You're worse than I am, Ray. Ray, normally somebody tells me, "Give me a second." I'll give them that second, then say time's up.
So this is an application for the search warrant. Okay. I gotta see, make sure I pulled up the right one. Yes, I did. Okay. So this was on the house. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, this is what was found on him when he was arrested. And the only place that I remember anything being about the IDs was in that warrant return. But this is going to be the same thing. I need the warrant return. That's what I need. And let me put the link back in the chat if anybody wants to come up. Yeah, this isn't going to be it either, y'all. I'm sorry. I've got to find the one that has the return on the warrants that showed about the IDs in the glove. This is a Honda launcher too. Oh crap. Yeah, if anybody wants to grab the link and come up, y'all are more than welcome to. Let's see. I think this is it. Let me pull this one up. Alright. And y'all look and see if y'all see. Let me go back to number 1. If y'all see anybody's name. I'm still wondering about that number 1, that knife that they put. Hey Elvis, how are you? I wonder if that's the knife. Hey Tina Marie, how are you? Because that one they don't give any type of description to, but then the Smith and Wesson one they did, and I believe there was another one in this that they gave a description to.
I see Kohberger's name on an AT&T bill.
Where do you see that at? Oh, AT&T bill for Bryan
3.
Kohberger. Okay. Yeah, she said
Yeah.
that it was something to do with the IDs that was found, and it had someone's name on it. So Freya is the one more. So it's the search warrant for the car. Where is the IDs at? Hey, Stuff Banana, how are you? I don't even see where they even put. Oh, here they are. ID cards inside glove, inside box. Well, Stuff Banana, they're claiming on this Dateline episode that came on last night that the IDs that they have listed on here that was found in the glove inside the box, it was only 2 IDs, and then it was for 2 different women, and neither one of the women were the victims. Okay, so Freya, it was the other one that I had pulled up. I don't want the DA or local drug task force learning my voice yet. Papa Rogers, how many days you got left? Hey, Michael, how are you? Tina Marie, this handwriting is horrible. Like, you can barely read anything on it.
I thought my handwriting was bad.
Yeah, this is just, you would think that whenever they're writing out stuff like this, that they would have it where it was legible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think my handwriting's bad. I know it is.
Uh, okay. Let's see. Okay, the one that you are showing is what they got out of the house. They put the documents together wrong. So I need to go to the one for the car then, right? And it talks about the IDs that Reba's talking about. And Pennsylvania's a website. It's not as organized as what Idaho's website is.
Reba, you were talking about the DoorDash earlier, and you said something about robots. What was you alluding to?
Oh, so I don't know. I didn't know until I went up there, but they have the robots that deliver food to the dorms. They're the big square robots with two antennas, and like they say, don't run them over at the intersection. They're programmed, but sometimes they go like almost into the street and people will clip them and stuff. But they were all over, and I was like, what are they? And then that's when my employer was explaining to me. He's like, that is food delivery. It they just go on the app and order their food, and it brings it to them.
Yeah, but that's got to be somewhere close. I mean, because
I'm
the
telling
DoorDash.
you that this that area is small. They're all over.
But what I'm saying is that DoorDash came from Jack in a Box, which it was in Pullman, all the way to
Yeah,
Moscow. I don't think a robot's going to travel that far.
no, but that's why I was confused when they started talking about a DoorDash. I was like, wait, I'm confused because I thought they had robots.
Yeah, I was confused about
Yeah.
the the person that dropped off the girls. First they were saying a guy, then they were saying a girl, and now it's a guy.
Hmm.
Yeah, that would lose me quick. It's like a case
Okay,
of
how
somebody please make up your mind.
okay, so No Way said how far was the place that they ordered the food from where they lived? Maybe too far for a robot. 9 miles?
Yeah, it's 9, 10 miles, somewhere in that
Yeah,
range.
because the Jack in the Box is in Pullman. So, and I've heard 7 miles, I've heard 9 miles. So, one of the two. Okay, this is the same thing for the car now, but it has all the stuff that they found in the house. I don't know anywhere else that they're talking about the IDs. Uh, this shit's too small.
And is Pullman, do they have a larger population than Moscow?
Yeah, but I think it's because the school is a little bit bigger.
Well, I was just
But
saying that because there was a Jack in a Box in Moscow, but it shut down.
there is a Jack in the Box in Moscow. But after 10 o'clock, everything closes down like a sober county.
So Jack in the Box and Pullman would have been the only place she could have gotten a DoorDash delivery then at that time of morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's probably other restaurants that are open the same amount of time in Pullman. They just have different, laws or whatever than Idaho, Washington does.
Oh, wait, Elliot, that's where you live at now? Oh, never mind. I read your whole comment wrong. Never mind. That's where you moved from. y'all. I still ain't had much sleep, if y'all can't tell. Okay, I'm still going through this document real quick, trying to find anything with somebody else's name in it, or like a different last name, and I'm not seeing anything. I see like all the four kids, and then I see Bethany and Dylan. I don't see anybody else's name that doesn't look familiar. So I don't know where this would have been seen at.
I don't know. It was weird to me too when it was said, and I was like, wait, when did that happen? I don't remember going through. I was like, well, maybe I need to go through documents again.
Yeah, because like any of the law enforcement, uh, they'll say like a Pennsylvania State Police or state trooper or detective. So like we know any of those names that's not familiar to us is with law enforcement. And you said that this name was redacted, the first part of it, right?
Yeah. So that's what I learned living with my nieces. Depending on when they redacted the form, is if you can catch it or not. Because if they scanned it and they didn't redact it, it's still going to be on file. So I'm believing it has to be something early on.
Okay, because I see December the 29th, the search warrant and the inventory for the car. Then there's a search warrant for the home on December the 29th. And then there's an order for his extradition, administrative order, and then there's a search warrant, inventory, exhibits, uh, search warrant application, a decorum order, and then a criminal complaint. That's all they have for Pennsylvania. There's nothing else on here, unless I'm just not seeing it.
I don't know. Like I said, that threw me off. The other thing that throws me off too is I don't know if you following the Brave Dave situation. And
Oh, the University of Idaho student?
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you think about what those two keep saying, I totally do. I agree to a certain extent and understand she's a mom, she's concerned, everything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
take in consideration what they said and compare it to what happened on Dateline, the stories don't add up.
Mm-hmm.
Because the friend said she lives at the house behind the house and she was best friends with one of them, and she didn't find out until 12 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they do use Snapchat and everything, the stories are not lining up.
Honestly, there's a whole lot of shit in this case that don't
I
add
know,
up.
I know. And
And
I know as a first responder and working in New Orleans with the universities, a
Mhm.
lot happens that a lot of the public don't know or realize, but
Right.
I still don't agree with it. Like, I feel like they're just trying to get time and get attention off of, like, I don't understand what their motive is.
We'll have proof though, because the same cameras that take pictures of cars and yada 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 will take pictures of young adults showing up at a different time.
Right. And it doesn't matter what university you're going to go to, there's going to be a drug problem.
True.
It doesn't
Hey,
matter how broke they are or how rich they are, you're going to have a drug problem.
I really believe the cartels have infiltrated damn near every city in our country.
Probably.
I'm gonna get out of here, but I want to get out of here with Sybil's post. She says their stories are just that. If they were credible, they would have given their statements under oath. Now that I can agree with. I'm gonna jump
Yeah.
down. I'm
Okay.
gonna get some sleep. I'm gonna go because I have church tomorrow, and
Okay.
hopefully I can join you tomorrow live.
Okay. I should be here. Unless I'm dead ass asleep.
All right. Until
I've
then, everybody.
literally had no
un-
sleep.
Until then, everybody, like Drew Carey would say, be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, love yourself, so we can see you back here next time. All right.
All right. Well, have a good night, and thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Hey Megan, how are you? Yeah, I'm so behind on chat. And there was another question I was gonna ask y'all while I'm looking through these documents. Because now, Reba, you got me curious about the documents.
I just found it a screen capture. I'm gonna email it to you right now.
Okay. Oh, that reminds me. There was something that was sent to me today. I gotta get it off of my phone and send it to myself so I can pull it up on my computer. And then I need to crop it real quick because it's got other people's name in it. But Dateline also put a tweet out today. And let me email that to myself so I can pull it up.
All right, it's sent.
Okay. And let me go to my email. Okay, so I gotta go to my other email. All right, y'all. If y'all haven't hit the thumbs up, please go do so while I'm pulling this up. Okay, so yeah, not messaging the victims to bump more. Where does it say in here though about Facebook group something? Sorry, no. Okay, so debunk, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. The information also said it was 2 exact number is new. IDs were not associated with the victims, that they are 2 females not attached to the murder. That's what they said on Dateline tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That it was 2 IDs of 2 different females, but the 2 females wasn't the victims. So there's a public copy that is not redacted. Driver's last name is Grower. Where have I heard that name from?
I thought the same thing. That's why it's been racking my brain. Like
I've heard that last name.
where have I heard it or seen it from? It's not a Louisiana name, so and it's not a common name.
It's White Widow Baby. It's the last name is Grower. It's the driver's last name is Grower. I've heard that name. Hey K Bird, how are you? I've heard that name within this case. But where did I hear it from? It wouldn't have been one of the law enforcement, huh?
I have no idea.
Was it maybe some of
I
the
work the
Pennsylvania?
medical field, so names are bad with me anyways because I see them, I type them, everything over and over again, but it's bells and whistles went off and chills went down my back when I read that, and I'm like, "Where did I see it?" And I started pulling up everything, and I'm like, "Where did I see this? Where did I see this?"
But they're talking about the driver's last
I
name.
know.
So the driver of what?
I know. I'm gonna
Oh, Jen says the private driver service. The driver that dropped Kaylee and Maddie off. that night from the grub truck. That's what they're talking about, the driver's last name.
Mm.
But that was a male, not a female.
Yeah, they said his first name is Eric. Okay, so that may be where I've heard it from then.
I'm gonna hit off of her message and I'm gonna reply because it's in Discord, and I'm gonna
Okay.
ask her, can you link me or head me into the right direction of the paper that you're talking about?
Okay, so that's where I've heard the name from. Knew I'd heard it from somewhere. Oh, is Eric married? And okay, so real quick while I'm thinking about it. On the Dateline episode tonight, whenever they were talking about the private driver, they said that he was from one of the frat guys that, and I don't remember exactly how they said it, and I didn't write it down, but he was one of the frat guys that done that was with a driving service that drove students home. But I thought that they said that, or that it had came out that this private driver lived on the WSU campus. Because didn't he come out and say, allegedly, that he lived so many feet from Bryan Kohberger?
I think so. I think I read that somewhere too. That said he was also a neighbor of Bryan.
I want to say, was it 250 feet? Was Bryan's front door from his front door or something like that? So would he live on WSU and give rides to U of I students?
Yeah, because all right, going back to our city scenario. So you have Shreveport is the biggest city next to you,
Yeah.
and then what's your other biggest city?
Um, Shreveport Bossier area, and then
Bossier.
Alexandria.
Okay. All right, so we'll do Alexandria. So if you went to Shreveport, just take for instance, just say they were 20 minutes apart. All right.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to Shreveport, or you knew leaving your house and you live in the middle part, either Shreveport or Alexandria is going to have it. So which way are you going to head? Because they go back and forth all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, there's two big universities, there's stores, they're big box stores, stuff like that, but they're so close. They go back and forth. Let's see.
I thought it was.
That's
I thought I heard them somebody say that like Moscow had the better bars.
Allegedly, Bryan, when after he was moved to Idaho, somebody had asked him why he did it, and he said he didn't do it. And then they asked him why did he go to Moscow, and he said that the shopping was better there.
yeah, I
No,
don't
I
believe
thought I
that
heard
either.
something about the bars from somebody else, not Brian.
Oh,
I
okay.
think there's only, well, I'm not a drinker even from being from New Orleans, but the people I worked with, there's only like 2 bars that they went to. And then when they wanted to drink, I think they headed towards Pullman.
Well, I looked up like all the bars in Moscow before, and there was only a few bars. There was a lot of like you places where you can eat and drink beer, but they weren't actual like bars.
Yeah,
Like a
it's just like
sports
main
bar.
strip. Yeah, it's just a main strip. Like, they don't even have an IHOP or a Waffle House.
And you
That's
would
how
think
they don't
with
even
a
have they
college,
they don't even have that. They have one breakfast place and it's a mom and pop diner, that's been there forever. It's absolutely out of this world. I will tell you, I've been there a couple of times. But they are only, it's one of those mom and pop stores, one of those hole in the walls. Like, it is only open until like 2 o'clock. And that's
Mm-hmm.
it. That's
Yeah,
it.
somebody should open a Black Bear diner.
Yeah, we have that in Houston. And I haven't even been there, but everybody raves about it. But they don't even have Waffle House, IHOP, or Denny's.
And that's like
They
the
don't even have a
places.
they don't even have a truck stop.
And you would think like the Waffle House, IHOP, Denny's is going to be the place that.
Now, wait. So I think they do have a Denny's, but it's on the other side, and it's like further. It's past the Walmart, which is towards Pullman. So it's more like in the middle, and there's nobody's ever there
Right.
because it's
So
too far away from the universities.
yeah, and that's what I was going to say. You would think with a university town that they would have something like that that stays open
Hmm.
like late hours, especially kids that are drinking and then like partying or whatever, and then they want to go get something to eat afterwards. But it seems like all they have for that late at night or that early in the morning would be that grub truck.
I'm trying to think. Are you familiar with the New Orleans area? You have
Not no, not really.
So you have New Orleans. You head towards Mississippi. You have Slidell on the other side of the Twin Span.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in between New Orleans and Slidell, you have the old Six Flags. That's down. That's where Chalmette and all is right there.
Uh-huh.
That's basically like Moscow. Chalmette dead. Boom. Like wide open. Nothing there.
Oh wow.
And then you
Just
would have to pick. Am I going to go to Slidell to go to the grocery store, or I'm going to go to New Orleans?
right. Wow. I didn't realize it was
Yeah,
that small.
yeah, that's why it amazes me of they're like, there's 51 terabyte, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I can see that part because of how small it is, and you probably pulled all the camera footage, all the ring cams, and you probably pulled everything from Pullman. They probably have everything from when they followed him across country. There's no telling what's in there.
Probably Pullman, Moscow,
But they also have,
Pennsylvania.
it's also labeled what I sent you last night to explain to Big Al how much it is. They even have broke down that it was so many pages of just tips.
Yeah, it
They
was
handed that over.
9,200 tips, I believe, is what they had in those papers. But I
Mm,
remember Chief Fry coming out and saying that they've had over 10,000 tips come in.
mm.
Let me see if I can find
I
out.
don't believe anything he says anyway. I don't trust me.
No, there was
I
too
have my
much
own,
flip
I
flopping.
have my own personal experience with Moscow PD. All I say is they're a small town, good old boys. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, there was too much flip flopping between what he
Mm.
was saying and what the DA was saying. Rosie, have a good night. Let me see if I can find one of these
It's
press
like
releases
my
that they
personal
put out.
experience with their PD is when I was talking to the police officer. He told me 4 times he was recording. Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a first responder. You're recording. Okay, just that doesn't intimidate me. Second of
Every
all,
time I have interactions with police, I turn on my camera. I
yeah,
record.
you have that right. You have that right. And not only that, but depending on what state you're in, Louisiana and Texas, I bounce between both states. Louisiana and Texas is a one-party state. I don't even have to tell you.
As long as you're part of the conversation,
As long as I'm part of the conversation or
yep,
on film and I can verify that that is me,
you
I
can
don't have to
record.
explain anything else.
You don't have to tell the person you're recording. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have to ask for permission or anything like that.
Yep.
Okay. I
But
know
something
somewhere.
happened and I asked him for a supervisor and he goes, I am the supervisor. And I was like, that's odd.
Okay, this one says, what day was this? December the 20th. They said that they're working through more than 7,650 email tips, 4,313 phone tips, and 4,583 digital media submissions. And they've conducted over 250 interviews. Okay, it's 2 o'clock in the morning here, y'all. Hey, Scott H, how are you? And it is way too early for me to be trying to do any type of math, but I think 7,000, 4,000, and 4,000 again is more than 9,200.
That's 15,000.
Thank you, Ray.
The
So,
math ain't mathin'.
well, how are they? How did they only send 9,200 tips? And I'm gonna go back. Let me go back
Unless
and
they
make sure.
ruled out certain things and tossed some out.
Or possibly they sent stuff before because they gave them, evidence before. And they were just asking for more and more and more. So finally they just did the data dump and gave them everything.
Well,
Uh,
I completely understand the data dump. She pushed them. Like, she didn't give them time. She kept saying, and then the stuff that she's asking for, she wants camera footage from PA. Not every police department has cameras. Not everyone has dash cameras. It depends on the community. The taxes is the government paying for it? Did they get grants? Stuff like that. Not every department has it. And on another channel, they researched it and somebody contacted him, told him they don't have it yet. They're in the process of getting them with a grant, but they don't have them yet. And she's pushing them, I need the camera. I need the camera.
okay. Ray, I think you have feedback coming through.
Um,
And then Reba Bread in chat wanted me to ask. He says, "Can you ask Reba if the grocery prices are indeed lower in Moscow, and how close is the Albertsons to the 1122 house?"
Um, I didn't go to any other store than Walmart, so it was the same price. So that was threw me off. And then Albertsons, I don't even remember an Albertsons being there.
Now there is one. Is in Lewiston.
That's the Lewiston, and that's the others that's further down.
Yeah, is that
That's it.
like the closest Albertsons to Moscow?
I don't know. I don't remember if there is an Albertsons in Moscow. I have to look it up. But if there is one in Moscow, it's gonna be towards the Taco Bell, which is on the other side. It's like two streets because there's two main streets. They run parallel. So it's gonna be on the other side. And I don't even know if that was an Albertsons. But I thought it was like an organic store, but I don't even remember if that's Albertsons or not. I have to look.
Okay. So would you
But
say that
that
the
would
prices, like for grocery prices, is it cheaper in Moscow or is it cheaper in Louisiana?
um everything in Moscow is higher than Louisiana.
Okay, so what about
Cause
Moscow or
I'm
Pullman?
telling
About the
you,
same,
I
probably.
smoke and I paid almost $12 a pack cigarettes up there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's how high it is.
So you think between Moscow and Pullman, groceries are
There's not
probably
really
about the
that.
same?
Yeah, they're probably about the same.
Okay.
I don't. That was the thrown off. Now, unless he was saying he was going because of a certain store because he's vegan or whatever. But like I said, I'm not about that life, so I would have to look and see.
Oh no way! Give me just 1 second. I'm fixing to look it up. Oh. Oh, Reba says something about hearing something on another channel. Curious what channel?
It's a opinionated idiot. That's my other main one that I follow, only because he doesn't He's like you. He doesn't allow the bullshit
Mm-hmm.
or the rumors. It's basically facts. A couple other channels, I've just stopped following them altogether because I feel like they're just trying to sheeple everybody.
Yeah.
So I just kind of pulled back. Like I even blocked him on YouTube, but I listened to him, and I started paying attention to him more only because he was the first person. His name is Bryan too. He was the first person to actually go back and do a rewind of
Mm-hmm.
all the camera footage, play by play each night, and that's where we started catching on to. The more you read things and the more you watch it, you're like, damn, how'd I miss that? How'd I miss this? And we
Right.
all started comparing notes. And then I started paying attention to what he's saying. But um he has a couple of guests that come in, but he just he's more straightforward to the point, very blunt, and he does not allow any drama.
Ray, thank you so much for coming up. I hope you have a wonderful night. Okay. No way. It says that Moscow is 6.85 square miles.
Yep,
So that is tiny.
told you. It is
Yeah.
small.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that small.
Yeah, that's what it's like the way it even upsets me because the way Nancy Grace explains it, she makes it like it's a big city. It's not. Because she said she drove the route from there to Pullman and down to Lewiston and stuff. It's
Mm-hmm.
from Moscow to Lewiston, it's almost an hour because you're
Yeah.
going through the fields. And then
Right.
to Pullman, it's 20-25 minutes. It's a short distance, but you're going through the fields. It's very, very small. The biggest space of the whole city is the college.
And you would think with it being a college town, it would be bigger.
Right.
They would have stuff to do in the, well, there's a town in Louisiana that has a college in it, and there ain't nothing to do there. Like, they absolutely nothing. So I kind of see
Well, see,
how Moscow is.
yeah, I mean, I've seen that too. Like, I went to ICP at Pineville, so I understand smaller. But when I think of a college, I think of LSU.
Right.
Like, all right, so we're at LSU, we're at Baton Rouge, we got all this stuff we can do. We can go see the zoo, we can go see the tiger, we do that. There is nothing there.
Right. Well, I mean,
Nothing.
even the LSU in Shreveport, like you've got all of
Right,
Shreveport. You know,
right.
you would think you when you have a college, like you need to give something to these kids to do. And
And that's
I
and
don't
that's
think
why I
they're
said that no matter what, you always have to think there's going to be a drinking and drug problem. They have nothing else to do there.
right because I don't think they have a problem with getting the students, um,
Mm-mm.
but like the students need something to do when they're not in class, other than partying and drinking and drugs.
And I
You
say when
know.
we first got up there, like the first day we got there, they had told us it was a Renaissance Festival. And I was like, oh,
Hmm.
well, we got one of those back home. And everybody was walking up and down Main Street dressed up. And they're like, the stores closed down early at like noon. The restaurants close. Everybody closes so everyone can go attend the Renaissance Festival. That's how small it is.
Wow, that is just. I mean, it looking at it through a camera lens and on a TV, it
Right,
doesn't show, like you only get to see certain parts of it.
right. I was gonna
It
email you and try and explain, but I was like, no, I gotta step up because there's no justice in if I describe it in the email.
No, I mean I get it. There's places
Yeah.
around here, you know, that's like that. It's
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I can go back and pull pictures and show you like there's nothing but fields.
Marissa said in Pullman it's more chain stores, and Moscow is more mom and pops.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, some of those little towns that are like that are just like the cutest little towns ever, But
Now they
just
do have some. They have a big Walmart.
hmm
They don't have a little Walmart. You know how the little Walmarts are.
like the
They don't
super
have.
centers or whatever.
Yes, they have a
Yeah.
big Walmart. Next to that Walmart, there's a shopping center, and I think they just got a Ross when I was there.
So there's no
They
mall or
still
anything like
have.
that.
There's no mall. They still have Kmart's open up there.
Oh damn, we ain't got no Kmart's down here.
Yeah, there was like one Kmart, and then there was another store that closed down here that was open, and I was like, I ain't seen one of these in forever.
I seen somebody in chat say they don't even have a Buc-ee's.
Nope, no Buc-ee's.
I don't think there's even any of those in Louisiana.
No, but they're the
All in
closest.
Texas.
Yeah, the closest
Yeah.
to Louisiana is Baytown. About an hour from that now, but Gulfport is about to get one.
Okay.
So that's right there.
Let's see. There's a Black Bear Diner about 30 minutes away. Wait, JC, are you talking about in the Moscow area? I might have missed some of their comments in chat. That was where they're talking about something else. Oh, that was Papa Rogers that was talking about the Buc-ee's.
Oh yeah. That's the best part about living in Texas now is I love going to Buc-ee's.
Pickle Me Elmo said that Sulphur, Louisiana is getting a Buc-ee's.
Yeah, they're starting to fork out. Look at Louisiana, moving up in the world.
What I'm saying. You literally got a Dollar General, and they're putting them in the rural areas now.
They just put a Waffle House on Canal Street next to University Hospital.
Oh, wow.
They never had Waffle House inside of Orleans Parish.
There was, do they even have a Waffle House in Shreveport? There's a Waffle House in Shreveport? I know they had one in Natchitoches, but I think they closed that one down.
And they just got a Chick-fil-A just opened downtown. It's the first Chick-fil-A in Orleans Parish too. And they basically converted it in a parking garage. Their drive-through is through underground parking garage.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so Papa Roger said, what exactly is a Buc-ee's? Buc-ee's is, and I've never been to one, but I've seen them on other YouTube channels. It's a huge gas station.
Buc-ee's is a mix between
Like a store.
Pick your favorite truck stop, and they made it with Walmart, and that's what you get.
And isn't there like a restaurant in them?
No, so you know how Walmart has their deli and stuff?
Yeah.
There's no restaurant. It's just where they slice brisket, make brisket sandwiches. They do roasted nuts, banana pudding, chocolate pudding, chicken salads, regular salads. Then they have a fudge bar. And then they have I think it's a croissant bar.
And they've got like
and then you go on
the gas pumps.
Yes, and then you go on the other side. You go on the like the home side, and there's T-shirts and home decor and Christmas lights and Buc-ee's decorate. Everything is Buc-ee themed. So you have
they're super
seasonable season stuff and yeah. And then you go on the food side, and you have like the homemade fudge, and then you go all the way to the gas station side, and then you have your fountain drinks and your 20 ounces, and then they have like the caramel popcorn. And they're also known for their beef jerky nuggets. They call them beaver nuggets.
Yeah, I've never been into one, but I've seen other YouTube channels that stopped at them, and
Yeah.
would show like all the
And
different
now
stuff.
they're forking off like Walmart. They have little ones now too, where
Uh-huh.
Buc-ee's is starting to buy these little gas stations, and they're little mini ones. So they'll have
Oh
like a little
wow.
t-shirt section and stuff like that. But yeah,
Papa Roger said so. A redneck amusement park, but with style, and you can drive your tractor to it to get gas.
yeah,
People
yeah,
still drive their tractors to the gas station to get gas.
yeah.
That is a thing around here.
Mm-hmm. No, I know.
Yeah, you go to the gas station close to where we live, you're going to pay high prices for gas, but you may see somebody on a tractor. You may see people on golf carts. You may see people on four wheelers and side by sides. No telling
And
what
a
you may see at the
horse.
gas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And see, how is it like the Flying J's? So, Violet, Flying J's are the one that's I've been to in Louisiana is just a truck stop.
Yep.
And they
So
have a restaurant in it, but
so there's no restaurant. It's more like a la carte. You just walk up. They already have everything made and lined up like a deli. So it's a Flying J's made it with a Walmart.
uh, oh Lord, now we got White Widow Baby singing in chat. Let's see, we have a lot of Flying J's. There used to be one up in Shreveport. I don't know if it's still there or not. I want to say it is, but I don't know. Let's see, good grief, that's one heck of a dang gas station.
It is.
Yeah,
Every
it's
time I go to one, every time I go to New Orleans from
mhm.
Houston, because I'm north of Houston in spring. We go from north of Houston to New Orleans. It's a 5-hour drive. An hour after driving, we're in Baytown,
Mhm.
and that's where a huge Buc-ee's is. Oh, and there's a Buc-ee statue. The beaver is outside. He's like 12 foot high, and you get to take pictures with him. And then sometimes there's a dude in the beaver costume walking around giving out
Okay,
free stuff.
so now Papa Rogers is saying, so a pilot Flying J's that made it with a Walmart.
Yep. Just go look it up. You'll see.
Yeah, they probably got a
I would
website
say
that
I
you
would
can go
drive to
to.
Baytown tomorrow for you, but then I would get stuck with $120 worth of junk food that I don't need.
Yeah, I've never seen a gas station with that many gas pumps. Like I'm from a
Yeah.
small
And they're always
community.
busy. They're always full.
Yeah,
All the gas pumps are full. Like you have to wait. I'm like, there's no way.
I mean, I'm from a place where our gas station has 2 gas pumps.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing a Buc-ee's with all the gas pumps in it is like it's amazing, honestly. Do they have a roller coaster? If so, I'm sad. I
Nope.
don't think they got the roller coaster. Like
Nope.
baby.
They don't even have the quarter machine to ride on. They don't even have those.
Let's see. Ava says that there are videos about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of homesteading channels that's from Texas that they're always going to Buc-ee's to get something.
Mm-hmm.
White Widow Baby, where y'all were at out there, did they have Buc-ee's or anything like that? I don't know. I've only heard of them in Texas. I don't know if they've got them. I know Pickle Me Elmo says we're getting one in Sulphur, but I don't know if they're like in other states.
Well, it originated here, in Texas.
Oh, okay.
And you know, Texas is huge. So,
Violet
they
said, do
don't.
they have lot lizards?
No,
No, it's not a truck stop though, right?
it's not a truck. No, they don't
it's
have truck pumps. It's just gas.
just a gas
It's
station.
just gas. It's just for cars.
Now,
There's
there
no trucks.
there is lot lizards at truck stops in Louisiana.
Oh yes. Yes.
Very disgusting, roach, ratchet looking.
Yes. I've seen some, especially downtown in New Orleans. Yeah.
Where I live, we have a Bucks feeding crane. Let's see. Oh my God, Violet. There's a town in my state called Lizard Lick.
Is that like
Wasn't there?
lizard lick towing?
That's what I was thinking. Like I know
Because
I've heard that
I just
name
seen on
before.
Facebook 2 days ago they're coming back. They got married and they're coming back with a TV show.
Yeah, I that's why I got quiet there for a second because I was like, I know I've heard of that name
Uh-huh.
somewhere. Yep. Maybe Louisiana will step up and we'll get some Buc-ee's yet. We'll get some huge gas stations here. Because right now all we got some damn Dollar Generals, and now they've merged the Family Dollar with the what's the other one? The Dollar Tree. You literally got two stores in one.
Yep.
Other than that, we ain't got too much going on here. Oh, I gotta exit up all this stuff on my computer. Lord, I've got so much stuff pulled up here. There was something else I was wanting to look up, and I don't remember what it was. Well, crap. Maybe I'll think of it in a minute. See, my town got a stoplight 10 years ago. We're still adjusting. The town that I grew up in, Ava, only it had two? No, three. And it finally got a fourth one a few years ago.
And y'all didn't even know how to act.
And yeah, it was always those three. And they were, the town is, the way they have them spaced out is like in the shape of a triangle. And that was it. That was all we had in this little bitty town that I grew up in.
This was weird. Is my dad is from Waynesboro, Mississippi, in the sticks, deep down Mississippi. My mom was from downtown New Orleans, so it was the best of both worlds. So in the summertime, we would go to Mississippi, and as city kids, we would look around and be like, "What the hell is going on? What in the bodonk is this?" And then that's where we learned how to pull potatoes and watermelons and deer hunting in the winter and stuff like that. But I know that when you explain, especially last night when you was trying to explain to them how far your driveway is, like, I know what she's talking about.
Yeah,
I know what she's talking about.
I'm straight out the sticks. Like, I have to drive just 3 miles to get to a main highway, leaving my house. That's how far back we are. But I mean, there's nothing.
That's why you
better.
buying all them batteries, because you don't want to drive the 3 miles just to
That's
get.
what I'm saying. But I keep going to the dang store and I keep forgetting to get the batteries. That's the problem. Or my husband will go to the store and I forget to get him to grab some for me.
I know you said you had the gaming mouse. Is it the Razer that is wireless?
No, it's wired.
There's one that it is wired, but you can pull the wire off and it serves as a charger, so it can be wireless and wired.
No, this one I can't pull out. It's like the old wired mouses, but it's like that.
I loved mine.
I mean, this one's okay, but the clicking noise is what I don't like.
Especially with your microphone is just too sensitive.
And it's right. The mic is right above, like literally, I don't know, maybe a foot above where the mouse is. Do we have Freds? We used to have Freds here. I don't know. I
And
think they
what?
closed Fred's. It's like a Fred's dollar
Oh
store.
yeah, we had
I think they
actually,
closed them down.
yeah, but they started opening them back up like in Slidell on the outskirts. So they're like hit or miss. But here in Houston, I haven't seen any Freds. But back home, yeah, they're like spread out.
Yeah, we had one not far from here, but they closed it down. Because, like I said, the Dollar General is just taking over everywhere. So there, all these other dollar stores that they used to have, they're kind of phasing them out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The town I raised in within the Guinness World Records for the most churches and the most bars for the size of the town. Oh wow. Okay, I'm trying to move everything around on my desk. Let's see, what time is it?
218,
Yeah, it's
219.
getting late. I'm gonna have to be ending it here in just a few seconds.
Yeah. I'm about to get down, but it's just I wanted to explain how small Moscow is. Like I just wanted to draw that picture for you.
Well, thank you for coming up and explaining it because, I mean, have you ever been to the town of Natchitoches?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know about how big it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do
Yeah.
you would you say that Moscow's smaller than that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, because Natchitoches has Northwestern, and so it's considered a college town. But there's a Walmart, there's a Tractor Supply.
Mm-hmm.
They've opened up a couple of new restaurants, but everything is in like one section of the town, which has now become very congested.
Right.
And
That's how Moscow is.
oh
Like
wow,
the two main streets. There's and I don't know the name of, and they were doing construction on them when I was there. They
hmm
were like merging them together to come as like a Y
well,
together before Walmart to go into the Pullman area.
right,
Um, so they were knocked down to one lane in both directions with cones. So I
the
know that
traffic was horrible
they're
then.
only like a block or two apart, but they run parallel to each other and go straight through. And on one side, they have a Taco Bell, some kind of store. That's what I'm gonna look up and see if that's the Albertsons. And then that's where all like the old houses are, like the residents, if that makes sense. Like people
hmm
that have grandfathered in there.
Right.
That's where they live. And then on the other main street, you have the college, all their housing, which is multis. And all their houses are weird. Like that's why I can believe that house is like that because they're all like that. They're all 3 stories and split like
Probably built for the college students,
yeah, but
like to
even in
have.
the where I worked at and where they lived on the property, it was the same way. It's just how that the style is.
Oh, okay. All right. So I did look up the population of Natchitoches. It's only 17,000 people. Moscow
Mm.
is 20, between 25 and 26, and Natchitoches is 21.6 square miles, where Moscow is only 6.8 square miles.
Mhm.
So, oh my God. So that is literally, and I thought Natchitoches was bad. Oh my
It's
gosh.
like so you have the 2 main streets and you got 2 hot points coming in and coming out both sides. That's it. And
But tw-
one
tw-
side of the city of the hot spot is the university.
so 26,000 people in a 6 square mile town,
And most of that is students.
right? Where Natchitoches is 21 square miles, but with only 17,000 people. And the traffic down there is horrible. I can't imagine what it would be in Moscow then,
Hmm.
with it being that small of a place and everything is like cramped up and oh my gosh.
But there's only 2 main streets, is it? Then everything else is country roads. It's half dirt roads or rock roads, or they just paved them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you get halfway down it, and then it turns into a dirt road. All right, well, I'm gonna get up here. I just want to point out how small it is because I've been there, so.
Well, I appreciate that because honestly, I didn't realize it was that small.
Yeah, and then the ID thing that threw me for a Fruit Loop.
So
But
yeah, once you sent that other thing to me, and I knew that name from somewhere, and then somebody put it in the chat. So, well, thank you for coming up and joining me. And
no problem. And then we just got to confirm that he was watching you on his iPad.
I know. if he's on there tonight, yeah. He's probably listening to me talking so bad about it.
Yeah, I probably will eat a shoe Monday if he pleads guilty.
I don't think he will. I really don't.
I don't think he will either. But then I don't put it past him because his controlling narcissist ways. Yeah.
I just don't. I don't see him doing it because I don't think his ego is going to allow him to admit that he done something wrong, even for a plea deal. But then I'm also, somebody had even brought this up about, is he going to testify? His attorneys are not going to want him to testify, but I can see him telling them, yeah, I am. I want to tell the story my way. I can completely see that.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks for a great talk. I will listen to you tomorrow. If I don't chat a lot in chat, probably I'm on the truck. That's why. So most of the time I just pop my earbud in and listen to you.
All right. Well, thank you for coming up. And when you're at work, be safe. I know it's crazy down in Houston and all that. So for sure, be safe.
No problem. Always. And I would send you some pictures so you'll get more of a point of view.
Okay. Yeah, send them in, and that way I can pull them up and show everybody.
Yeah. No problem. Work.
All right. Well,
bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right. All right, give me a second. Y'all, I'm trying to get my email pulled back up. I've done had it pulled up like 4 times and I keep exiting it off of it. I'm trying to find a video that is in my email. Ava, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Okay, why can I not hear this video? Hold on, y'all. There's a first part that's got music. So I gotta try to get past it. And a flipping 15-second video or ad. Give me just a second here. Okay, let me pull it up now. Try to get past the music so it doesn't play on here. All right. So this says prosecution in Idaho student's murder case should be laser focused on finding Kohberger motive. All right, so I'm gonna play this, and then we'll talk about it for a few minutes, and then I'm gonna get out of here for the night. And when it starts playing, y'all let me know if y'all can hear it, okay, please?
Kohberger, the man accused of brutally murdering 4 University of Idaho students last November, is due back in court on Monday. This after a secret grand jury indicted Kohberger on murder and burglary charges earlier this week. For more insight on this shocking case, attorney and King's College Senior Fellow of Law and Public Policy Mark Smith joins us now. Mark, it's always so great to have your insight. So we're going to see which way he's going to plead tomorrow. Then what comes?
Well, he's going to obviously plead not guilty to the crimes he's been indicted for on Monday. Then what will happen is almost certainly the judge will set another date for the lawyers to come back to discuss any open items involving witnesses or any discovery that they still want to take. And possibly it's possible on Monday, they may even set a tentative trial date. Of course, trial dates are always subject to, again, the process and what evidence has been, still uncovered, how much time the defense needs in their view, to build a case to defend against the district attorney's case here. So, yeah, I think in some ways, Monday is not a huge event other than it's going to really set a timetable that we can look down the chessboard as to what's going to play out in this case going forward.
And we know there are some key pieces of evidence we are likely to see. We can show you here. We've got about 5 of them. Really, the one that stands out is, of course, we understand that they didn't get the K-bar style knife they believe was used, but they did get the sheath. What can you tell us about that or any of the other pieces of evidence we may see?
Well, a lot of evidence was turned over to the defense lawyers last week, according to reports. And the question really is, Griff, what does all this mean? There's one critical gap, as I see it, in the prosecution's case so far, as best as we could tell from public reports, and that is what would cause Bryan Kohberger to do what he did, or at least what he's alleged to have done. A lack of motive really stands out here. They're building a very strong circumstantial case to say, well, there's some evidence that he was there at the relevant time. His car was on film around the place of the murders. They have that kind of circumstantial evidence, but at the end of the day, the government wants to win a conviction with a jury. And usually when a case relies entirely on circumstantial evidence, which is the case so far, guess what? They're going to want to understand why he did what he is alleged to have done. That does not appear to be available right now. And if I were the district attorney, if I were the prosecutors, I'd be laser focused on trying to piece together a motive as to why he did what he did, because it's such a it's such a heinous crime here. You really would like to understand what would prompt someone to do this.
There's so much we don't know. We don't have the murder weapon. We don't know the motive. We were showing just a moment ago, Mark, the residence where this grisly murders happened. And I understand they're boarding that up. And it looks like, for obvious reasons, this home will be likely destroyed. But yet some are saying, hey, wait a minute, not so fast. What if the jury should want to go to the scene of the crime? How important is that, preserving that crime scene, at least until the trial is over?
Oh, I think if you're the government, you have to preserve all the evidence, including, of course, the place where these murders took place. The last thing you want is if you're a prosecutor, at least, is for a defense attorney to be able to stand up in front of the jury and say, why did the government do what they did? Why did they allow this critical piece of evidence, i.e. the location, the murders, to be destroyed? What are they trying to hide? That would be kind of a compelling argument the defense attorney could potentially make. So certainly if I were the government in Idaho, I would be very careful of destroying and making sure nothing was destroyed, because the last thing you want to do in a case that looks relatively strong right now is to do anything that's going to undercut it by making it look like you're hiding something. Because the last thing that a juror wants to see, if they feel like the government is not being honest with the jury, if they're hiding evidence, boy, that is the sort of thing where a jury would say, look, we don't feel comfortable that the government, and then if the government is hiding one thing, what else are they hiding from us? And boy, that's the kind of situation where a strong case could become a losing case really fast.
We shall see what happens Monday morning. It will be very interesting to watch. Mark Smith, thank you very much. Have a good weekend.
Okay. Give me just a second. I gotta get all this stuff off of my screen so this doesn't keep playing through my headphones. All right. They for sure need to keep this house. They don't need to demolish it until after this. Hey, S1, how are you? They don't need to demolish it until after this trial. It's completely over with, and he is either he's got a conviction or he walks, whatever. They don't need to do anything with it until then. They go tearing it down, and then what are they going to do if the jury was to come back and be like, well, we needed to walk through it, or we wanted to look at it, or we wanted to test things out in there as far as like the sound and the layout and all this and that. It seems like if the university really wanted justice for these kids, they would agree to that too and be like, okay, well, it was donated to us. We have the say of what happens to it. We don't want it tore down until this case is over with. And I know that they said they were going to talk to the prosecution and all this and that, but it seems like the university would have just straight up made that decision and not wanted to tear it down right now. Ow, shit. Very interesting interview for sure, Tony. I don't know. There's some things that it seems like it would be common sense, and they're just not. Seems like some people in Moscow are not using common sense. So, let me go through my chat one more time. And Werewolf Queen, thank you so much for that super chat that you sent a second ago when the video was playing and said a reminder to get more batteries. Thank you so much for that. That was very nice of you. See, I would bet money they're going to tear it down. I hope they don't. Really hope they don't. I'm just afraid that they're going to end up tearing it down before the trial, and there's going to be a what if moment. What if we would have left it standing because maybe there was something still in that house that we needed, and I'm talking about the state or the prosecution, because there was something we needed out of there, or we needed the jury to walk through it. That's what worries me, that would end up happening if they tore it down. So hopefully they'll make the right decision, and they leave it up, as bad as it hurts the students and the victims' friends and all that to see it. But I think in the flip side of that, I think that leaving it standing until after the trial, I think that the students would understand why they would be doing that. Let's see. Making sure I'm caught up with everything. See, the university wants the memory gone. No way, I agree with that, but I think with that part, I think they're only thinking of the university and the money that they could potentially lose. But then it goes, do you worry more about the money, or do you worry more about getting justice for 4 of your students that was murdered? And you also let that be known to the public that if you come into our town and you do something like that here, this is what's going to happen to you. Let's see. In my opinion, it cannot come down until we have heard a verdict and a sentence. That's what I hope they do, Emerald Queen. Let's see. There's absolutely no logical reason to tear that house down before this trial is over. Once it's over, they can do what they want with it because it won't matter at that point. Violet, that is true. That is true. But I hope that they put justice for the victims and the victims' families and their friends over money for the university. And whether they do or not, I don't know. But hopefully that's what they do. Hopefully they do the right thing. All right, y'all. I'm about to get out of here. I gotta go to sleep. Super tired. So thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me tonight, and everybody who came up on panel tonight. Thank you for joining me up here. You guys are awesome people. Sweet Melissa, have a good night. Scott, have a good night. JC, you're very welcome, and thank you for coming and hanging out with us. All right, Widow Baby and Crime Crazy, I will talk to y'all later. I hope y'all have a good night. Thank you, Marissa. So I love you all. I hope y'all have a wonderful night, and I will see y'all tomorrow.